Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. We are here for another lovely day of ESL 1 Thailand and a pretty darn amazing series for us to start us off. We do have Aster Aries up against the side of Question Mark. It is apparently max laser power now and the lovely Danog. Danog, welcome back, sir. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling your lasers are in on this match and excited. You know, there's a lot to play for both Aster Aries and Question Mark. Like the panel we mentioned, or dire situation, you gotta win any chance back into it. Gonna have to favor their draft isn't either side, right? Like Aster Aries, they're lacking this way to start these teams. I think they're gonna have a significant amount has something like Dagger, whereas on Question Mark, they just want to be waiting, they want to be sitting back, being a little bit more at the bar. Later on, you've got so many more heroes that have these abilities a carry. Like even a position 4, that could be a carry in its own right.
Certainly could be. Bottom of the line here for Aster Aries, definitely wanting to pull off this game 1 victory to try and game number 2 and have themselves an advantage. Question Mark, I mean, you don't want to just go out of this tournament 0 wins, so of course they want to try and pull one off right now. Does pan out.
Super unconventional with the way that they're laning this hole. That there is. So LWW, he's Snapfire this time around, not at the Rico hero. So it seems like they're realizing that they prioritize a little bit more net worth onto this, that they can begin these engagements. It's going to be on the Snapfire to have level 6 essentially, rain down hell from the long range. The cookie's going to be all that useful, really. Maybe to save the Venomancer for a couple of seconds, but none of these heroes do you really in and make a lot of stuff. Yeah, in the lane there is a little bit of ganking potential. All of your heroes based Zeus, but beyond that, I think Question Mark. But I'm happy to see Jakiro coming out.
I was kind of shocked to see that. Of course, you were very happy. You were pointing at its up against the Treant, and of course, Jakiro just great lockdown with the Ice Path. A little bit questionable in my opinion. I'm not sure what to expect here. Of course, it does combo very, very nicely with the RP, with the Chrono. So, we'll see how it all does pan out. You were talking to me as well, Danog, the Treant Protector you were just mentioning side of Aster Aries. Because I was asking who's actually going to be frontlining here for Aries, as they do just have 3 range cores and another range support. So, you were bringing up the fact that he's probably going to have to prioritize getting a very early blink on that Treant and trying to actually initiate for it.
Yeah, try and initiate for his team, follow that up with the Venomancer immediately afterwards, and then it needs to be the rest team coming that up. I think you're going to see Venomancer build just so that he's able to do that damage over time strategy that they've got to start the game. Then it's going to be all or. I think this game, the drafts aren't perfect either side. I feel like there's some serious things lack for both of them, but it's going to come down to the specifically for Question Mark. I think this is their game to lose, just because that they do have a lot of team fight potential. Got the ability to farm a lot faster. Yeah, the laning stage might be a little rough with a Venomancer against your board. So if KNP is able to get out of that laning stage relatively even, I'd be happy. But yeah.
Shall we do get into it now? The pause is over. Phoenix going to be there in the mid. Zeus, the Alveno going up towards the top lane. Haru down at the bot lane on the Drow. And the Drow's another kind of hero that's just been brought back to the meta, it seems. I have been seeing it popping up quite a lot here and there and has been making waves. You see, Drow Ranger is back, apparently, in this current meta. Rico. Here by KNP, but he'll be fine, or maybe not. My Pro goes for a bit of a skewer, but now they get the Nature's Grasp off.
He's just clearing those trees. You can see KNP as well cutting away with a hatchet, making sure that if there's going to be any sort of aggression happening from Rico, it has to come from the left side. So you'll probably see these question mark hashtag players play a bit more towards the right side of the lane now that they've got that safe.
Because it's going to stick around and MyPro just keeps skewering.
Clears everything. I mean, you have to note that it's MyPro up here as well, typically the offlaner. So will he be rotating shortly to make sure that this is advantageous, or just Operation clear as many trees as he can? It looks like he's walking back in the lane to do a bit of super early body blocking.
Is get to. So Magnus Void lane is what we're seeing so far. I mean, surely he's going to TP after this body block.
Yeah, I think so. You can see Lionax after making sure that he could contest the bounty runes on the bottom side. I think it went even for both of them. Yeah, it did. Just going back to base. I'm not sure what's good there.
Oh, Haru is going to have a go at Leaf now. Leaf, got to be a little bit cautious. He does not go for the Ring of Protection, so he's only sitting at 1 armor at the moment on this Derv. That's a lot of damage out from Haru.
I think that's fine though. He's doing what he needs to. He's putting his body in the way, making sure that this Magnus, who's leveled up Skewer at level 1, is going to be able to get those early creep kills. It's going to convert into experience. I think he didn't... Oh no, he did soak some of the experience away, but still, he's done a good job to make sure that that first creep was able... I'm really going to be looking out on him to up his game this series. I feel like throughout all of ESL 1 Thailand, he's been somewhat lacking, and I know he can do better.
Okay, keep an eye out on him. Of course, top lane KMP and Leona X up against Rico and Albeno. Mentioning, of course, this is basically an impossible lane for KMP up against his Veno Treant, but Leona X, he's trying his absolute best to get those Drool Breaths out as soon as possible and harass them back just a little bit, but as the levels go up, you'd imagine this Void should be struggling quite a lot.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that MyPro was up there and able to clear out all of those trees certainly helps in a cute way. See, there was a bit of pullback happening here by Leaf, and MyPro, he's taken the suicidal route, and he's gone right up onto Haru, trying to harass him if can. Surprised, actually, that LWW isn't trying to taste of his own medicine. Be able to sit down
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Back and relax. Leaf will join him on the Doom. WW will take the farm underneath the tier 1 tower. MyPro looks like he's going to be a bit more disruptive now. In fact, skewering back onto Haru.
Tower is under attack.
Not going to lead to much, but some more harassment. Leaf will also be there for a nice little swing, but Haru, being left very low in HP, will be forced to just stick around. In fact, he goes back to his tier 1 tower.
This is one of those lanes where, as a Jakiro, normally you've got that super low attack range, so you're probably afraid against any range support or even just the enemy offlaner. But the Venomancer, he's only got 450 attack range, so it's not a huge amount, and Jakiro sitting at 400. So you're generally okay with it. You can get some harass off in addition to doing blink, and then eventually when you skill up that liquid fire as well, you can harass more from range, and I think they're doing just fine on the prize. KNP's already up to 11 last hit.
It's doing well. WW just trying to keep MyPro away from this this neutral camp that Haru is farming. Leaf. Sneak up behind him, but not going to contest this farm either. Just going to let MyPro do it. MyPro is very, very desperate to get as much farm away from Haru as possible. How's our mid lane going, by the way? We haven't really looked at that at all yet.
Even as expected, Lena is going to have a slight advantage.
Trouble. A lot of damage out. Gale is there for Shinseng, but not going to matter. KNP does get the first blood this game, and I got to tell you, Danuk, that is very unexpected.
Unexpected. You've got a lot of slow harass coming through, lots of damage over time, so it's not this burst that should be coming out onto Faceless Void, which you can time walk off, right? He should be getting constantly harassed, using a lot of his net worth for regen, but wisely enough, he's purchased up that rig of regen, getting clarity, salves and tangos ferried out to him to go into the Mask of Man. If it does get to the stage where he needs to, he's going to be able to.
Well, Leona is going to be in trouble now. Rico going to have a go at this Jakiro, and with that Orb of Venom slow, Leona actually just can't run away. He'll Drool Breath, and that'll help him out a bit. Rico still wants to chase, but will give up on it eventually, but that leaves Leona with basically no HP, no mana. Of course, in the mid lane, the Cal, apparently on the Lena, has been having a very, very good time up against Phoenix.
Pretty good time. I think Lionax did what he needed to up on the top side, just because his main goal for being there was to block that large camp. When you've got a Treant Protector, you're always able to push lanes out super easily, as well as a Veno to compound that, and so you just don't want your experience to be denied away.
Trying to catch up in that mid lane now is Zeus. He has gone for the Arc Lightning build, which seems to be all the craze these days, and allows you to farm a lot faster on that
Dire's middle
Zeus.
tower is under
It
attack.
means you can't get as involved early on, but that's just fine. Leon going to be chased down again. He's going to go for that 5-minute bounty rune now. And, well, unfortunately, our Treant Protector seems to have just forgotten about it. So,
I don't mind this 1 point into the Arc Lightning as well on the Zeus.
let's go down. Punishment there on the side of Aster Aries.
But yeah, with Phoenix, some good positioning as well, making sure that he was between the tier 1s and the tier 2. They know that with question marks, that they need to be securing this farm for the greedy lane with the Doom. As with the Magnus, you've got KNP that's not going to be any sort of through either. So he was able to stand between the tier 1 and 2, push that wave out, and not lose any experience. Playing this lane pretty damn well, considering it is a losing general.
Taken over in terms of CS, which is definitely a nice indication for him. Back down to that bot lane, MyPro, having a bit of a struggle here on this Magnus, sitting at 19-1, not looking too bad, but Drow, Haru, even though he did have a bit of a struggle earlier on, has hit 30-13 on the Drow Ranger, so he's farming very, very nicely, but so is KNP on the Void. He's at 28-3. Well, as it stands, they haven't really been able to apply as much pressure as you would have hoped. At this point, KNP's supposed to go to the jungle, but bot lane, MyPro, eventually caught out by LWW, and Haru was able to pick up the kill.
Getting punished a little bit for this greed that was coming through. I like the way that they did set up that early laning stage. Of course, there always needs to be a compromise. Either this Void has a good game by you skewering away all those trees and making sure Treant Protector is much less of an issue, or you come into the lane and you've got those early
Dire's top
power
tower
and
is under attack.
they are just diving this.
It's just so easy, but now Miguel does come in and whoa, that was just disappearance of the Venomancer, that Laguna Blade ripping him apart. I suppose you'd call that somewhat of a good trade for the side of question mark.
I don't think that's too disappointing if you're a fan of theirs, although in the meantime, we're seeing some of these stacks start to get built up by LWW on the Snapfire. You've got a Drow Ranger, so that multi-shot damn easily. And, pressure being put onto this tier 1 bot tower by our Drow. Nicely done, although I think you need to be doing a lot more to punish this position.
He has been getting away. I mean, pretty much whatever he wants this game so far. Still top lane. Leona X going to be in trouble again. Shang-Chi just wrapping around the tree line. Even those neutrals not really helping out this Chikiro. And they do get the kill. Now Mikhail trying to run, but does cop the Scatter Blast with the Thunder God's Wrath and does actually go down to the Venom Ward of Shang-Chi.
That's the sort of rotation that they need to have, right? Before this wants to join these team fights with the Chronosphere, before the Doom's available, before the RP is up the line on MyPro, you need to make these early commitments. After that stage, if you're not having a net worth lead early on against a greedy lineup with a Doom Ring of 4, and without all of this actually on the Treant Protector, yeah, luck.
1 mid top tower, not going to last very long at this rate. They aren't going to really be able to find a trade so far for question mark, but they are starting to huddle down that bot lane.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
A lot of couriers coming up to this top lane as well. Phoenix.
A little bit of a different build from him. Other Zeus mids that we see. Stack nicely done by whoever set that one up. I believe it was Lee. Constantly been moving back and forth by Campera. Be very happy with how that one turns out if they don't scout it through.
Nice thing to do as a position 4 that doesn't really do much in the laning phase, right? You just start stacking A. So your team will eventually be able to take them and you can actually at least profit a little bit off stack gold. Aries, of course, didn't really spot that one out, unfortunately for them. Still, MyPro.
Haste!
around Phoenix on the Zeus, but isn't going to bother trying for anything. Rather, he will pop the haste rune and actually just empower KNP once again. Looks like he does want to try and get something done, so he has hit that level 6 mark, but for now, it seems as though they are just going to prioritize farming.
I mean, for each of these Ancients that Baseless Void kills, Leaf, by stacking them, was getting 20, 30 gold, and that was a huge stack, so he's already halfway towards the Blink Dagger. If he opts to go that way, I wouldn't mind seeing a Drums on it as well, just so that you have early aggression to this Aster Aries lineup. You know, Zeus, he's opting to go for this Aether Lens build as opposed to the boot. He might not have the mobility to escape if you're...
Don't mind seeing that Aether Lens as well. Like, you want to be able to sit real nice and back for Phoenix. Make sure you don't get caught out by this Void, nor the Doom, or the Mag for that matter. Important for him to just have that added cast range. See MyPro down at that bot lane now. Starting to look towards that T1 tower. Of course, Rico is going to be there on the tree and protector to try and defend just by himself. But eventually they should be able to get it, especially if MyPro is able to catch out Rico. But now this Treen is playing it smart, hanging to the right of the tree line. Good leader here as well. There's just no chance of defending this any further.
Yeah. I mean, I'm always a proponent of saying, look, why not just get the one value point into the living armor? One point in that would not save this, and especially considering you're before the point where you've got these initiation tools on question mark. You can't just dive right in or TP right in on Twitter. They've got the potential to burst you down. This is what we were talking about before Climax as well, right? You can just pop out the macro fire.
Chrono,
they can do.
ANP gonna catch out the Drow. Haru is falling very, very quick. It does go down, and now they'll turn back around onto Sheng-Chi. There's the Laguna out from Mikkel, and they do get the kill. The Thunder God's Wrath, not gonna be enough, but the Mortimer's Kiss as well. LWW, however, also being spotted by KMP, who wants to continue this chase, hoping for a Pash or two. He's not quite getting there, and LWW will have a Scatter Blast up again very, very soon. He will turn around. It will not be enough. KMP does clean up the kill, and even mid lane, Phoenix getting caught by Leaf. He will die to Rico, but it's a great team fight out for question mark.
Fantastic team fight for question mark, not just because of the kills, but what they were able to get out of it in terms of gold. See the majority of it going to Void. It's going away from that Drow Ranger that was fought out early on. Saying before, you need to have this snowbally style lead in order to make stuff happen in the late game. And position 4 Doombringer already has that link 11.5-minute mark here. Things are looking good for question marks.
Makes it so easy to catch out this mid Zeus. Once you get the Doom off on the Zeus, there's just... he doesn't do anything.
At least with the Boots of Travel, you can maybe run away, you know, survive before they're able to fully burst you down, but other build, you know, Aether Lens straight into the Ag Scepter. I can understand going Arcane Boots to start off, just so that you can stay out in the lane, be a little bit more sustainable, especially since the way Zeus's base regen. But beyond that, I feel like you need to disassemble it and build into a travel after that, and then you can go need that mobility. Of question.
0.5 mana reach. Phoenix. He's got some farming to do. He's going towards the Nimbus now. See how that acts up. You might feel just a little bit safer, knowing that you can throw it out at any point of the map. Sheng-Chi had a bit of a tough laning matchup, or rather not a matchup, but he's had a tough laning stage. Still, he's doing well in terms of net worth on this Venno. Working towards the Guardian Greaves, I believe.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
This is the style that I want to see a lot. The Magnus, for all intents and purposes, being the position 3. Taking the other. It's the Doom that's actually far and away in the lead. Like, Magnus does not have much farm at all. I feel like MyPro is going to excel when he's going to play these heroes that perhaps enable the cores a lot more. Give Leaf something. You can see things like the Dark Seer or the Magnus again in later games. I think that might be a bit more
Pro.
Radiant structures.
A bit cautious here, just by his tier 2 tower, but Phoenix and LWW are posturing. In fact, there's Rico. They have the overgrowth up. MyPro gonna avoid the gank for now, and it looks like LWW not really gonna spot him out on the way out. So he'll be just fine. Of course, he does have the RP, so he might be looking to try and make a play with him very, very soon. And he's actually gonna run over to KMP, and they do smoke up.
careful, you've got this
Radiant
haste room, which
are
could be a bit of a
scanning.
bait, actually, for Zeus if he starts to move.
The Master of Madness
Are
Yasha up,
scanning.
hitting very, very quick on this void.
Radiant's bottom tower
Pops.
is under attack.
Yeah.
Dire's
Scan
top
out the
tower
Roshan
is
and-
under attack.
Please catch out one around that Roshan. Yet it was Phoenix on the Zeus, and that means Leaf can just jump in again for another stun, another Doom, and that is a guaranteed dead Zeus. You just couldn't ask for much more.
And that's only 2 support ultimates. But yeah, it's a Doom, but what can you possibly want than taking out the enemy mid laner? Doom is ahead of the Zeus on net worth.
It's a real big problem.
Dire's top
Your
tower
mid Zeus
is under
gonna
attack.
get a lot of bounty runes out of this. It looks like it might be a 4-0 trade. Cal, yeah, he's gonna go for the other. So 4 bounty runes, 4 question mark, and well, that's gonna increase their net worth lead by around 3k now.
It's as we were expecting in the early stages, right? We had that pause, we were talking about, like, what does both of these teams need? Aries, they're doing everything, at least build-wise, that they need to. Venomancer, he's got style with the mechanism, but I was saying before that it depends on how they're actually going to execute question mark. Got out of the lane stage with a good start for the Faceless Void by enabling him with that magnet. Fantastic. They had that gigantic stack, which meant that the Doom comes online a little bit sooner, and you just saw how easy it was to only commit 2 support ultimate to take down the enemy mid laner. And it's only going to go forward from there. You know, the Jakiro's got Skewer, RP, and the Chronosphere to be able to get off a huge
Dire's
level of
middle
influence.
tower
Speaking of that Chrono, KMP might be looking for one right now. There's a DD rune, they've left it there. Rico, he didn't pick it up in time, so Leaf, he does die, but so does LWW, and now they rush in. Haru does kill off Pro, going after Leona, but there's your Chrono out. Back on the Drow Ranger. KMP just gonna clean him up. Now back on to She-Hulk's brother, Veno.
See, he's going to keep chasing him down. And, well, might be in a little bit of trouble, but that's still a DD Void if they wanted to keep committing. But no, he's fairly happy with how that team fight went, obviously taking out the Drow Ranger, stomping him down further and finishing up his Manta style. Now he's just going to go to that safety of the bottom lane where it's already pushed in, and they've got that Observer Ward near the Radiant Alpha, providing that little bit of beacon of safety.
Shocked that that question mark didn't really round off that team fight a bit better there up against Aster Aries. I mean, it was still decent. Might have been a bit better here from question mark, especially with that Chrono that was up and the DD from KNP, but eventually they did end up getting Haru. It's just the fact that they did end up losing Pro before that happened.
You just see those 4 Radiant heroes walk up that tiny little choke point, and as a Faceless Void with a DD, with the most farm on the map, you're just licking your lip.
Aries 3k behind. At least they do have the Guardian Greaves now up, and the Blink for that matter. So you've got some decent initiation from your Treant, or some sustain from Shang-Chi.
Radiant's middle tower is under
Might be
attack.
go time here, right? Once is back up, but they have found the Lena, or rather, he's found Shang-Chi, but the Guardian Greaves are going to keep alive this Veno. Mortimer's Kisses, that is way too close of a range, so Mikkel just going to go for the TP back home, and they
Radiant's
could
middle
not
tower
get the
has
kill.
fallen.
Oh, that is very unfortunate.
That is unfortunate. Obviously, neither team able to finish off the kills, but in exchange, they lose their
Radiant's
mid-tier
middle
1 tower.
is under attack.
Harped on about it throughout this entire tournament, but it just opens up so much of the map, especially after you've taken the tier 1 on the bot side. See the map being drawn on by the Magnus, saying, this is the area that we need to be playing in right now. This is the only place where Haru, like, want to be sitting here if you're their 1 win condition for taking any sorts of objectives?
Say no. Tough position here for Haru. Aries, they're going to smoke up as 3. Rico, LWW, and Phoenix.
Radiant
To do-
are scanning.
He's able to get in a safe position on the backside of these teams.
To actually scan out Leona X. It is just the Jakiro that you have scanned out, so not too big of a deal, but they might just take what they can get. Thunder God Path is going to give vision, and now the chase is on, but he is way too far out.
It's far out, and before the Zeus cooldown nerf and damage buff for that ultimate came into play, I would be like, yeah, okay, that's kind of all right. That's 120 seconds. That is a significant amount of time for maybe finding a... Like we were saying at the start of the game, Schmuck are fine with sitting back and farming. You've got a Magnus, you've got a Faceless Void who can carry, out-carry almost any hero in the game in the late. Schmuck, they're totally fine with how this one's going. And even the Doom is continuing to establish his fun.
He is, almost has a BKB up now on lead. Once you've got that BKB up, I mean, there's just so much magic damage on the side of Aries, you're just not going to be able to hold this man down, nor do any form of damage apart from perhaps Haru on the Drow Ranger.
Radiant's top tower
The edge of
is under
Phoenix doesn't
attack.
look like they're going
Regeneration.
fast to rotate.
He has a smoke broken, he knows. Someone is around Phoenix. No, they're not going to continue this chase. Phoenix just not realizing how close he was to death.
He's going to go the safe option, maybe take the tier 1 tower on the top side, get rid of a couple of those bounty runes. D on the bot side though for this Drow Ranger, but importantly, that's going to be enough to make sure that Magnus has his blink. A little worried with that rotation that he was
Radiant's top tower
50
is
gold
under
off and they
attack.
decided to move with it. Now that he's going to have that to turn around, stays in the fog of war, they're going to have a rise.
Radiant's top tower has fallen. Dire's
Very
bottom
close
tower is
to that
under attack.
BKB now on the Void. Haru
Radiant's
does
top
have a
tower
double
is
damage
under
rune, so
attack.
he'll go down towards that bot lane and go after that tier 1 tower,
They're just
but the
roaching.
Roshan's happening.
Yeah, who cares? Like a tier 1 in the off lane?
Doesn't matter.
What does that do? You know, we could still TP if we want to try and invade our tri-camp. The tier 2 tower's right there. That tier 1 tower is not valuable at
Dire's
all.
bottom tower
Compare that to a Roshan when you've got tons of burst damage on the Zeus, and well, if let's say the Faceless Void dies with a Poison over on him, with Overgrowth being used to commit, with the Mortimer's Kisses,
Radiant's middle
when he comes
tower
back,
is
what do you
under
got?
attack. Dire's
He-
bottom tower is under
For a
attack.
chrono attempt, they also have the RP up, but MyPro will just blink in for a nice easy shockwave. That's just going to be it. The rest of Aster Aries do disengage, and they'll just leave the Snapfire to die. But it's kind of like you just said. I mean, they're just taking everything off the map here, question mark. They don't care about that tier 1 tower at all. And Aster Aries, I mean, if you're sitting here in this team right now, you've got to wonder what the game plan is now. What do? You're 6k behind. You know, your Drow is not able to farm. Your Zeus is just way too far
Dire's
behind at the
courier has
moment.
been killed.
Got to make some space happen here.
Far behind. I think he needs to hit up onto that level 15, get that little bit of extra move speed right now, because it feels like whenever he gets gone on, it's so easy for them to just turn around, rotate through. Thankfully for him,
Haru.
he's got the Ags, but Haru, he doesn't care. He's just happy to... His team was nearby, and he's like, you know what? Walk into them. What are they going to do? What are they going to do? I've got BKB, I've got Manta Style to get rid of any slows or silences. Totally fine with it.
But he actually had the chance to kill him off as well if he really wanted to. But decides to leave him be and perhaps wait for a bigger and better chrono. Cookie, the out from LWW, just poking the bear that is KNP at the moment. Gonna have vision over this Void. They'll throw out a Gale. Trying to keep him very, very slow, but KNP continue time walk forward and not allow Haru to just farm that ancient. It's to farm. Take it off him.
Hell, they're trying to bait out a Manta with the gust and try and catch him off guard, but it's always going to be a rough one when you're still about 1,000 gold away from this Drow Ranger picking up that BKB. All these stuns coming through, the easy setup with the York Scepter and even just the Stomp on the set. Hell. Faded Road. There's so much movement speed on this Doom right now.
Still problematic, and you've got a third BKB now on Yelena. Cal just picking his one up. Mid Lena.
Triple fire.
Again, I asked the question, like, apart from Haru, who's going to deal the damage once these BKBs are activated? In fact, never mind that for a second, LWW. So
Radiant's
close you
top
could smell him
tower
right
is
now.
under attack. Dire's bottom tower
KNP,
is under
not
attack.
focused on that, rather the T2 tower and RP. No,
Radiant's top
MyPro
tower.
does pump fake. We get the ice path onto Sheng Xi. They don't want to commit these big ultis on just a Venomancer. They want to leave him be and go for the bigger targets back.
LWW's still there. He's chilling. He's like, oh, fine time. Eventually he's going to move. But I think they could just use this Aegis to cement their control over them. They could push out this tier 2 tower. Was that a... No.
out of range of LWW unless no, he doesn't have snap by his spine.
Playing lookout right now.
Stay fine, he's literally just standing there doing nothing.
Invisibility.
No XP, no gold going to snap by his way at the moment.
Dire's bottom tower
I'm
is under
sure
attack.
Question Mark will be more than happy to keep him there as they go for the mid-tier 2 tower.
He's moving. It's the important thing. LWW is back. He is at his computer.
Amazing.
Got about a minute or so left on this Aegis timing. Staying around the mid lane with the backup of his team. Picking up a little. Wrath start to happen.
Pump fake there as well from Phoenix.
Dire's
They have all
bottom
these big
tower is under
ultimates on
attack.
Question Mark, but it seems to be just a matter of they understand how free of a game they're having at the
Nice
moment that there's
play.
just no need to risk anything. I mean, if the enemy is not obtaining gold, it doesn't matter. In fact, Sheng Xi, he ventured out, lead, just jumps in as you support Doom, and there's KMP. They'll book him away. KMP, that's a lot of damage, but he does have the Aegis. He jumped back in? Probably not. Back to pushing in that midway. You don't really mind. The Aegis was literally about to expire anyway.
You don't mind. What I do mind is Aries not further committing onto that. Yeah, you used your Nimbus and your Poison over, but you had a lot of ultimates still available. Maybe try and use the silence to bait out the Manta coming through. I suppose you're always just so scared as Haru getting caught out with that Cronus. You've got a Treant Protector with a Blink Dagger and a Force Staff, as opposed to a Meteor Hammer to these lanes out and get a bit of respite from the pressure coming onto you, but you haven't used it once. They need to make something happen very shortly.
Hi Pro, be careful sir, your blink is cancelled at the moment. Hey, ask for any more. Let's bottle it up on the Aries. Trapped near their base. On the right side, Haru does appear to be getting some form of gold right now, which is nice for the Drow Ranger.
Just trying to think, what are they waiting for? If they can find, for example, Mikhail here on the Lina, that would be fantastic.
They have found Sheng Xi.
Stop either.
They did waste RP, so perhaps it's the time to go. Doom was also committed by lead on to
Drow.
There are some things you
But
weren't
the
meant
team
to
fight
see.
is not looking great for Question Mark. In fact, Leona X, can he get out of here?
Radiant's top
The
tower
globs
is under attack.
just off. They just couldn't get there in time. Very awful team fight, but
It was awkward, and again, execution. That is where this game is going to be won and lost. They've set themselves up for victory very nicely on hashtag. They've kept them bottled up in this area. Needed to go in and that happened. Just slowly push down this tower. What are they going to do? Yeah, you've got a Treant Protector living armor, so it's going to make it somewhat difficult, but when you've got a 10k net worth lead, you could stop you from doing that, and you're not going to be able to defend 2 towers.
Haru, he'll start split pushing top lane now. Rico, he's going to stay nearby. They are still 9k net worth behind, so the more gold you can get right now in Aries, the better. Cal, he's just going straight for an MKB now. Just needs the Demon Edge. Already hitting like an absolute truck as it is, and it's going to get worse and worse.
I think this is
Radiant's bottom
total
tower
correct way
is
that you
under
need to
attack.
fine to have the Yule Scepter for that regen. That movement speed is super helpful. Gone the boost of travel
Dire's
too
top tower
with
is
that.
under attack.
Gone that.
Radiant's
You just
bottom
need to go
tower
right.
is under attack.
Set up the kills super nicely, but you're not right-clicking in late stages. You're not doing enough of
Bottom
them.
tower has
You're not
fallen.
this like one-trick pony glass cannons.
Take the final outer tower for Aster Aries, and it's going to get smoke up. Question mark. Still got Chrono.
Dire
You
are
don't have
scanning.
Doom and RP at the moment, but they are coming off
Dire's
cooldown
top
very,
tower
very
is
soon.
under attack.
Run into.
What they're trying to do here, trying to get a little bit of pressure onto this top side. They realized that their outpost was taken away, so this lead from Question Mark is only going to extend. So many Venom wards around though.
Dire's
Oh,
top tower
catch out
is under
Venom.
attack.
See, to be out of range for that Chrono. You may as well get some tier 3 items for yourself now as you can. Exactly what Question Mark will get started on.
Haru? Haru?
Haru. around there. BKB's are popped. Haru will go to the team B, but you do have the Doom up. And that is probably your worst case scenario for Haru. Bidding the BKB and probably still going to lose his own life.
Living Armor's doing some work. I mean, MyPro, he doesn't have a ton of farm. That's going to be able to clean him up though.
Real shame for Aster Aries. One man, you need to stay alive at the moment, and with that Drow down, they want to go for more, so they'll just jump onto Rico, using the Mimics from Alpha Mount Zeus, but is it going to matter? Time locks forward, and now the Chrono does come out, catching two, and they just melt. Not even close.
Immediately the buyback comes out with Rico, realizing that we can't just keep losing these objectives for free, but KNP tried for the RP there, not needing to commit it onto the Drow Ranger on the top side, meant that got that dieback through, but 30 minutes, no outer towers remaining, you've got complete map control, Roshan's just spawned, you're in complete control.
Radiant are
like riding a bike with a question mark at the moment, it's just so easy for Roshan didn't think to go. KMP is going to make quite short work of it by the looks of it still. I mean, there is some contest potential because can scan out, or rather just spot out with the Zeus, but they're nowhere near. Probably throwing their lives away if they did try to jump in. So Aegis and Cheese going to go to question mark. Cal will take the Cheese on the Lena. And with that, you'd expect a high ground attempt now once those ultis are back up for question mark. There's just no reason for them not to.
Why not? You're in a totally safe situation. You know now that there's no Treant buyback if you are able to pick him off. So he's going to have to play uber defensively. Again, where's the overthrow?
RP, they have caught out Haru. It's the big one. The Drow Ranger, Ice Path, and Macropie to be dropped, and he just cannot move. KMP popped his BK, but it wasn't necessary. Nobody was coming to help. Back towards that high ground, there is a buyback available on Haru. Might need to expend it here. Sam out from Sect C. It's going to be a bit of a slow siege. I say that, Mikkel is also pushing in the mid lane as the Lena.
I mean, it's just one of these situations where you're like, come on guys, just... Are you really going to drag this game out for another 5 minutes when it could realistically be done if you want?
Might be worth the defense. They just got the refresher orb up onto Phoenix. A lot more damage up on Zeus now.
A lot of duration left on those BKBs though, right? 9 seconds on Lena's, 8 seconds on Doom, and they... Oh. Pace this forward. I suppose wanting to commit it to make sure that you can secure the kill on the Drow Ranger is very important. Not needing to force that buyback though on the Drow, so really clinging on to sense of back into this.
They are. Get some farm and XP going for yourself. Haru at least. Can't afford to get caught out like that. Like we have seen in the past couple times he's been caught out. He's either been left behind or he's kind of in front of his tier 3 tower and vulnerable of a position for Haru to be in. We'll see how he does deal with the next high ground attempt. This one is going to have a chrono in it and probably another RP. In fact, there it is.
Though, I want to see hashtag. I feel like they're doing it on Mikhail. They're doing a little bit of it on Leafy. It's just... KNP, he needs to be sitting back and farming a little bit because they're doing a good job with Lionax of just keeping this wave pushed out, making them believe that they can't leave the base. They finally do leave the base at LWW, and now he's going to get picked off. Why did he? Can't see him away.
The skewer is going to be out. Lemmercave saving him for now, but eventually KNP is going to have his way, and now he's godlike on this void. Rico, of course, going to start keeping the creep wave as the Treant protector the best he possibly can.
You need that meteor hammer. I'm not sure what this 4-staff was for. What is that going to do for you in a team fight? What is that going to do to make question mark want to leave your side of the map? You can see, like, what is Haru doing? What is Phoenix doing? They're just hemmed in on this small side. Only the heroes with invisibility or supports with buyback are the ones that you're letting go out and try and make to delay it out, at least until this Aegis time. Rear Brigade is coming from the dire side, lots of items being delivered through, and that's when they're going to...
A lot of couriers.
You are fuel for my fire.
In onto Shing. Fine, the Venomancer, KNP. Just gonna have to back off. Let's see. Managed to survive, or maybe not. There goes your Aegis.
Had a minute left, he's generally alright.
And again, they do hold the high ground. I mean, that's one thing Aster Aries are doing really darn well, is just placing those Venom wards out, making it very, very hard and quite painful to get up to that high ground. The thing is, every time they leave it, living armor from the tree, it's just going to heal it back up to max.
What about Rico on the top side here? And Linux has a gem, so you're going to be able to chase him down.
Which might make some prize.
Here though, Rico, going to force staff and he should be okay. Mikkel's still trying to go in here on the Lina. Rico is right next to them now. They do spot him out. Ice Palm, not going to connect.
It's the yours, Mikkel. You got to use it.
Not quite yet. They're just breaking down trees, trying to find out where this guy is gone, but he is safe. Probably back towards the high ground now, question mark. I mean, you don't really have any other place to make it apart from just farming the map.
Yeah, 28k net worth now. They're still not farming on Aster Aries. Still got all lanes pushed in. Got both outposts. Roshan isn't going to respawn for at least 3 minutes. It's a bit of the waiting game. I'm liking the way that Mikhail's taking advantage of it. Yes, he probably could have got the pick off onto the True Protector, which would have been go time since he doesn't have buyback. But I think waiting for level 25 is...
Go. Left behind there at the bot lane, but Leaf doesn't have any detection, so won't be able to get him. Still LWW. Does limit him trying to juke out Mikkel, and looks like he does miss the LSA.
Oh.
Does get a bit of vision there. Perhaps he's still looking. LWW.
Glimmer's back.
Continues to run. Now he eats the cheese to get some more mana up. Glimmer not gonna matter as everything does land now, and he's unable to get the cookie off in time.
And that's level 25 as well. So you've got the extra attack range coming through from this Lina. Be able to assist with some of that high ground siege.
Lane Haru again very far forward. They want to commit Chrono for this, and they do, but the disarm was out. KMP still is going to be alright to auto attack away the ice path to follow up, and KMP now going to jump onto Shengxi. They will buy back on LWW, but it's going to mean nothing. Question mark do happily just back off after those 2 kills.
Back off after the 2 kills, and they didn't use Satanic or BKB. Sure, Satanic is like free, why not just use it as he is now, just to make sure he's fighting fit again in case they want to make something cheeky happen. But BKB means they can go right back in, especially now with that Mikhail level 25, with that Monkey King bar. Those levels of the Fiery Soul, he's going to be hitting like
living armor, only going to help so much. KMP's allowed to stand there and hit, they'll fortify.
The offensive one by making sure that creep wave's going to be able to stay. Doing his best to try and keep them at bay, but there's so much you can do.
Ice Path is going to connect it with that gem. Rico is just gone. He'll buy back. Mortimer's Kisses were expended, but MyPro does commit the RP onto LWW. He's also dead. 1 by 1, Rico, he jumps in for the overgrowth, but there is 0 follow-up. Shengxi, he tried to get in, but not quick enough, and Aster Aries, they still have their racks.
Leveler as well now coming out. No, the Void has it. I'd give it to the Lina. You don't really need to be holding the Nether Shawl at this stage. Yeah, the spell damage is nice, but so much safer for this Lina to just be artillery away at the towers, and it just feels like they've never been able to come into their game on Aries' side.
36k net worth behind. It's 30 plus, say, Daniel.
100.
100%. Okay. It does look about that mark right now, but
100% only in the past like couple of minutes when those buybacks were used. Hovering it around the 98 before then, but even Gaben thinks this one's probably done for.
KMP, Gale there, Thunder God's Wrath gonna be vision, but he'll just time walk back in. Poison Nova is going to be expended. Haru is really doing no damage to KMP. There is 0 damage being dealt to this Void. Now the Ice Path and Macro catching him out with the BKB used. but he does die anyway to the Lena. As buyback,
You do, but you've still got so much available. You know, this RP's up in 20 seconds, Chronosphere in 10. You use the BKB, which is a little bit unfortunate, but I think what Void's doing is tanning, more, and then
might just finish off that Eye of Sky first.
why not?
Radiant's top barracks are under attack.
Never mind, Mikkel, he just wants the game over and done with. Goes for the racks and they get the Doom off onto LWW. Lead looks like he is going to dive tier 3 towers for this one, and it's not really going to be that risky of a dive either. Get the kill. There's your barracks gone up that top lane, and question mark still have plenty of time to try and go for a
Radiant's
secondary
middle
racks if
tower
they
is
wish,
under attack.
and that's exactly what they're going to do.
You know, there's 20 seconds left on this Rail Ranger's respawn time. In a
RP.
position where you need to pull up that buyback.
He catches out too with the chrono now from KNT, and that's Phoenix and Shexy gone. In fact, Rico also being caught out. They buy back on their Zeus, but they have lost that mid racks. And now the bottom rack's not looking very safe either. Question mark, look to slam lid shut on this game number 1.
Radiant's bottom tower
Aries.
has fallen. Radiant's
You have done a great service.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are here for game number 2 between Aster Aries and the side of question mark. Lovely Dana. Welcome back, sir. Game 1. Off for Aster Aries. With this new draft, do you takes the 4th game number 3?
I think that's about game number 1. I agree with QO. I still think question mark at the slight edge, but this time around, Aster Aries have given them the capability to come back into this game because they just had no avenue to do it.
No, I'd agree. I think I'm a little confident myself in this draft as well. They've got the Spectre, they've got the Doom. They are looking good. Underestimate game 1. bit unstoppable, but does pan out.
Yeah, how it goes. I think they might try and do something a little bit funny with the lanes. Aries side got this matchups that you don't necessarily highlighted it really well. Because of having the last pick overall, you then rotate being in the mid, a better matchup against the Queen of Pain versus the Bat Rider. So I'm liking it. It's gone the point in the Thunderstrike. I was thinking maybe even try and have the Spectre on top side of the map if he, as opposed to against the Bat Rider. And then when they try and do the lane swap, level up your glimpse and make sure he stays. So not only do you have an okay matchup, but you've also just ruined their TP. And then if you can get it,
30 seconds to
opposed to any sort of damage spell, you're in a really good spot.
It's a very cheap stretch, sir. Feeling some of your secrets. Thank you for that, Danog.
Watching, but,
That would infuriate me. That if
我是一个没有感情的刷钱机器，
like the minute mark, I'd be sobbed.
it's as much about the mental game as it is about the execution.
Game of
See you
later,
later,
nerds. 2
nerds.
bounty runes. It looks like it will be for either side. A very even start once again.
来，你打我呀！
Rico on the Rubik this time. See Phoenix on Queen of Pain instead of the Zeus, and these heroes that Aries have picked up are much simpler to execute, I would argue. Much more in meta at the moment. It should be a much tougher time for question mark this game. Shouldn't be as much of a snowbally kind of game for them.
Yeah, they've got team fight, they've got pick off, and they've got someone that actually wants it. Immediately you're just like, right, feeling so much about it now. I think we could probably expect to see some haunts used to start these engagements as well, because you've got a disruptor on you. He's getting chased down a little bit, but he'll get away. But those are the sorts of things, even if you're using haunt to only catch a support, that's totally fine, because even do that, you can then use the glimpse to bring back a core, a much more higher value target, and win team fights in that map. I'm feeling a little bit more confident, although it'll have to go down to, again, how the laning stage could...
Time on the PA rather than the Void. He had a great game last time around, and very hard laning stage last game, but he made it through and looked great. And on the PA, you'd argue he should have an even better time now, as you aren't as reliant as getting in close to secure the CS. You are on the Void. For now, he's just having a free old time. Leona is able to keep on the Tree and Protector.
That's not for the likes of
Too much the Doom can do. Of course, Haru on the Spectre, you could probably say the same. Mind you, they haven't switched up lanes, as I'm sure everyone can tell. So he's going to have to go up against his Bat Rider, which it's a bit painful.
It's a bit painful. I'm bloody block question mark. Made sure that this hard camp isn't going to be a factor. I think Leaf might try and make his way again, or get out, but probably going to try and get it going on. No, getting it itself, I suppose, just wanting to prevent that similar style that the question mark went in game number 1, where Leaf played a little bit more greedy than Mike, wanted to make sure that he could play that Yapsel style game. But top side, Rico's in trouble again.
He is. Dagger's going to connect in. Oh, nice lift up. It's going to force the kill to go to Leona X on the tree, and they do get the first blood nevertheless. And Cheng Si, he'll go for a bit of a chase here with that Scorched Earth, but ultimately we'll just have to let the tree go. It's another nice start for the side of question mark.
He's opted to go a point in the living armor at level 2. Depending on how you expect these lanes to start at the early stages, I think that's an interesting way to go about it, because, yeah, it means that you can be a little bit more aggressive. Wouldn't be surprised if he uses it now onto the Bat Rider as he starts to chase down Haru.
Haru's in big trouble. A nice glimpse back, but Lee is going to be able to get a bit more harassment in just before they are able to leave. And EW really saving the day there, as that did look like a guaranteed kill out from MyPro.
deny.
Was Sandking at level 2. Can't really do too much to finish off that kill. Harass in. Look back at the mid lane, Danog. Phoenix currently on even terms with Mikhail on the Lena. Not really struggling as much as we saw last game, and it's to be expected, but you can kind of still see Mikhail being very aggressive with his positioning. Like this, getting a lot of harassment out onto Phoenix.
Yeah, That means that even though the last hits are about the same, it's actually a 300 net worth favor to so not needing to carry himself out quite as many salves. We can see here too. Skill build, nope. Shadow Strike, Queen of Pain. So just putting as much as he can into the mobility, but punished for it.
He is. It makes enough sense. You can't actually Shadow Strike the laner, but still a very difficult situation. I suppose with the Scream, he can just go to the neutral camps later on. Still, LWW, chased by our Sand King. Kale was looking for a rune, but it was taken by Rico on the Ruby. Well, Leaf is still chasing LWW. Go. Look at top lane. Not going to go for a lift onto leading winner. But the owner is going to be able to continue and living armor onto KNP. Kind of nice for the PA, because you're just going to have this constant regen flying in. Really no repercussions out.
Very different build as well. So he's put two. Not interested in keeping lanes pushed out. Not interested in the leech seed as well, making sure that he's able to have that ganking potential. I suppose once you get a few levels into the Doom, it's still quite hard, even with the HP regen nerf. Devour.
Worthy tribute.
Enough said.
Money to burn.
I suppose you're going to have the levels for the Nature's Grasp later on anyway.
I think one level in the Living Armor is enough. Like, what's really the 1 and 2? The extra healing is nice, but PA's not really having.
See, also still able to maintain his own lane. The owner, nice little block there, not allowing this pull to happen. Rick with the Nature's Grasp, but it'll be a bit annoying there for Rico. Does get one creep back towards that camp. That's going to be it. And very, very low HP. Forced to just run and blink his way to the fountain. I mean, he's ahead in CS, but in terms of levels, Mikkel is now level 6. So this lane with this quad is only going to get harder now.
It's going to get harder. We can see he's trying his best to shove that wave into the tower before they get there. She returns in time, so she's not going to miss out. That means a double damage. With this rotation, he's dead.
Guaranteed death coming out onto the quad, a nice Laguna out from Kale, but an even better rotation out from Leaf. I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure that Queen of Pain just TP to the lane, so that's going to be a very, very sad walk back.
Just TP to the lane, someone else TP as well, so that you know at worst you're going to have a 3v2 situation. Got double damage, Mikhail tanked up all of these tower hits, so the siege creep's still alive. And DC, they're just chunking this. You do not want to lose a mid-tier 1 tower at 7 minutes.
This is really bad. Aries, they're trying to defend with Rico, but all he can do is stay on Mikhail at the moment, and it's deniable. 34 HP, but you don't want to get rid of it.
Nope. You're totally fine with this tower getting denied.
They're going to leave it for now. Mikhail can just go back in at any time and hit it once or twice, and it will be gone. Massive, massive start for question mark. It's not like the other lanes haven't gone well for the mine. My Pro is going to be able to catch up now on the Bat Rider. Your PA's been having a fantastic time up at top. While you still do have the Doom Inspector also farming very, very well, you just start to get a little bit concerned about the map control now from Aries. How are they going to allow their cores to farm the triangle, to farm the right side jungle of the Radiant, if that mid-tier 1 tower's gone?
It's going to be tough. I mean, a couple of these unconventional wards helping him out on the top side. Left of the tier 1 tower. Or traditional one, or
and it is on to our Spectre. Mikhail there with the Laguna, but Haru does stick charge up. It is not going to be enough. Does at least gets a bit of there. Yeah, Bat Rider still not very worthwhile for Aries. That mid-tier 1 has been denied, by the way.
To happen. You don't want to just give that away, especially to a Sand King, who I'd say, as terms of position 4 supports go, he's probably the most item reliant.
Let's get back to it. KNP able to freely farm his jungle. Phoenix, just based off his laning stage, doesn't seem to really be comfortable making some big rotations yet on the quad. Kind of want to see it coming out now, as you do have the Doom and the Sonic Wave up, but hard to imagine where you can find a kill. In fact, speaking of, Haru is going to be in danger again. The front strike isn't complete. They do not pull the beauty yet. They may not need it. He goes for a horde. Back towards the top side. TMP going after him, and now even Leona X going to just chase the Spectre down. And even if you don't kill him, you're waiting so much time, but he does get the kill. It's just perfect play for
Given the bops, we haven't found Rico down on the bottom state. He actually cancels it himself, but okay.
It's a slight network lead for question mark, but all this momentum's flying their way now. You've killed this Spectre twice. Phoenix, Sonic Wave, kill off lead.
And wasted the horn. If you can take a kill at this point of the game, you need to. You need to get a tower. It doesn't really matter which one it is, mid or top.
Dire's top tower
Aries
is
needs
under
some form
attack.
of map control to come back into
Radiant's
this. Right
bottom
now,
tower
question mark
is
are just
under
rotating
attack.
wherever the hell they want.
To hold on to these ultimates at the moment.
Dire's
Get him
top
thrown
tower
out.
is under attack.
He's still free farming in that mid lane.
Radiant's bottom tower
More props
is
to
under
lead.
attack.
By the way, in this position for Sand been a while since I've seen support Sand being this influential early on, but he's been fantastic.
Dire's top tower
Poor
is
old
under
Phoenix,
attack.
well, he's going to blink into him. The W, they're going to spot him out. There's 3 heroes here, so Leaf should be dead. They do have the sentry and eventually will secure the kill.
Did you
Fine, you know where 3 heroes are now. I think what X is doing on the top side is exactly what they did on Aster Aries previously, or they're going again on 3.
Yeah, but a lot of TPs are not coming in now. They want to chase back onto that lead, but Phoenix actually give up on that chase. They kind of forgot about Rico's life, but now MyPro is just going to make a run for it. But Firefly is going to wear off. Phoenix, can you keep up with this guy? MyPro trying to juke him out. They know who went south. Now to the right side. No, the attack.
You gotta turn auto attack off, buddy. You do. He's got the boots of travel. They nearly had finished the Scorch Earth duration as well, so he would have had the movement speed to be able to get away from that
Overgrowth. And that's just the big difference right now between Aries and question mark is they're not hesitating to throw out those spells.
It doesn't matter what game it is, you know. Yes, Dota, any other MOBA, if you use your spells, you've got them for a reason. You can't be holding them for the next game or the next series, because for these two teams, there might not be a next series. You know, Aster Aries lose, they're basically out of contention. Question mark, yeah, it's going to be tough for them to come back into things, but very much a chance to move forward if they win this. And so every little moment counts. I really like the way that this tree is giving it space, even as this position 5, they're keeping this top tower pushed out. The dominance from the mid lane means they're not going to lose their mid tower. And yeah, I think honestly, despite the way he was playing it a little bit selfishly in game number 1, Leaf, he's taken a bit more of that backseat role. Now he's just being given creeps to farm, so that dagger's the next big item for him.
All time. But
What's in the caustic either, so it's just going for that initiation, not really the damage, not really the farming style just yet. Once that starts to come up.
Goes for Rico, might actually just put him on top of the cliff here, and he does. But is he going to be put on? No, MyPro, he does avoid that. Still kinetic build into the arms. Flame Break going to knock him back down, and now the Sonic Wave expended. They do get MyPro with the whole tip Haru. They'll make a chase to Leona X, and it looks like this should be a secondary kill out from Aries.
Much better.
The way you want to play it.
Yeah. They even had the early glimpse of where they were, and it's just that, right? Even though it might only be a support, they catch out MyPro, so if important kill to start the fight, it stops a lot of this wave push from slowing down, and with that Dream Protector who's maxed out that living armor, still dead for 10 seconds, they need to put all of their attention to taking down this tower. You can see why Leafs TP'd up to make sure it doesn't happen.
Strike and that's come off, and that T1 is gone. Haru has fallen extremely low on the Spectre, but will be walk away. Unfortunate there for question mark. I suppose that's probably one of the least important towers anyway to lose. So based on the fact that you have the tree, you prefer to keep it if you could. But I guess it's given space to KMP, who's getting close to that battlefield now. Bot lane, they missed the stun, they do get the turn. KMP is around to help if necessary. They'll continue this chase. Now the TPs come in from Leona X with the overgrowth down straight away. Nature's Grasp, and this should mean Feng Xi should not be able to get out, and with that flame break knocking him back, they do secure another easy kill.
Dire's middle tower
Fortunately,
is under attack.
that lane survived.
It's just this issue, that confusion again. Last game, you might have been able to give Aries. It was on the Singapore server. This time around, it's on China. So you don't have lag. You're playing on your home server against a team that is probably sitting at about 70 or so ping.
So, they are just sitting back, trying to secure some farm on their deck, and of course, Phoenix Swap. Working towards that Orchid now. They are approaching the later end of these Orchid timings. At 14 minutes in, but getting close.
And that was Shanxi on his, who at the time was sitting at the top of net worth. So for you to Doom, knock the kill, it's that way, to not actually succeed with translating that into something else, or at least baiting out those TPs so that the Spectre can start to get back into the game. Sitting at 5th on the net worth, so not the worst, but as this Spectre, Pog mentioned it on the panel where you've got a lot of stars on question mark. That's not horrible as a Spectre. You're fine with that because you're still going to dish out a ton of damage with your discretion. He's got it maxed out to full, nothing in the Desolate just yet. So, pretty good time to try and make something happen, but the fact that you won't have this Doom might mean that this could go horribly and dig their claws.
Had his smoke broken. He walked too close to the mid lane where KMP is slowed up. Phoenix. That'd be a massive pick-off here for Aries, but they miss out on that as well.
Yeah, a bit of lack of communication. People walking off on their own, not expecting that there's going to be a smoke break just at that point in time. So they missed the bounties, they missed the tail here on this bot side. And
all they have now, they got the stun off. Trying to get out of there, return back around onto the Disruptor. With the living armor, he will survive just a little bit longer than he should have, but ultimately will still go down. Haru.
Fantastic trade though. Look at all those cooldowns that were popped for that. Doom is back up and available now, but if you're going to have a Hawk and a 3-man rotation expended to kill Alina, give up anything in exchange, and Kale to be able to bring that one back.
I suppose we can't get either that we have all these heroes still farming, and in fact Leaf, he's got the blink dagger. They're getting the smoke up, and that Luxo and Epicenter for a play. Haru trying to TP. They will not spot him in time.
Dire's bottom tower is under
It's
attack.
actually a very good TP out from Aster Aries, and now that I look at the map, it looks like they were actually spotted smoke.
Get away. It's another one of those clever war spots that isn't going to be cooked by any traditional high ground sentries. Obviously done by them, although pretty good wards on their end too, to make sure that you get out any of these.
Okay. Invade their own jungle here. Mark will be fine to do so.
Dire's middle tower
Cautious,
is under
hiding
attack.
behind the tree line, but MyPro is now on chase with the fly out. Flame break, only going to connect on 2. It actually does not help them out whatsoever. Kind of works against them here, and Aries leave back towards their own triangle and a counter smoke straight away. Love to see it.
They're going to be the 4 that smoked though. Spectre doesn't have Haunt for at least a minute, so going up into a vulnerable position where you lack any form of vision. Someone valuable like KMP one.
Oh, that's a big kill to get. They use the Orchid first now with the stun and Sonic Wave out. Great kill up to Aries. Question mark weren't expecting it still. It's going to be Lasso and an empty special double Burrow Strike. LWW. He does drop the static storm, but it does more. And now the Yules is out to catch out a third. He's gone. Great initiation out from Leaf.
Yeah, I mean, you pick off the PA, which is a big deal. You know, she just finished up her battle. She was fine going into that BKB next, so that the Disruptor's really not going to be too much of a factor in these team fights. But for staying there, welcome a little bit, land around vision, essentially. Planted down an observer. Nice. Watch one of those Jenkins
Radiant's
pro tips,
middle tower
standing
is
on
under
that
attack.
low ground next to the tier 1 mid tower, would know that they've got some great vision here on the dire side for this observer. Takeaways. So that's my
Well, back to farming Phoenix, going for a BKB now on the Quap. like he needs that magic immune. Bunt of question mark. But Aries are together. My pro. See, quite on out. Instead, they don't leave his around with the sandstorm. LWW placed in the sentry. How do you get out of this? Does have Burrow, but the Orchid's going to come out in time. Aries claiming another nice kill for themselves.
Horrible. My pro, he's stuff I'd really like to see him pick up a win place, just because that Firefly is percentage
Radiant's
based.
middle tower
Items
is
these
under
days
attack.
are all just flat movement speed increases. Even something sweet like that is so much cheaper than a cat.
Tomorrow from the blade mail, so my pro is falling a little bit in terms of HP, but he doesn't have everything on the Spectre to get the kill. Still, Aster Aries are at least going to be able to get support for their trouble. Macau.
You saw that, right, in that team fight. Even though Spectre was completely on his own, yeah, he popped the blade mail, but with that Treant Protector standing next to him, that Lagoon Blade chunked off more than half of his HP. So imagine that with your team around you. It doesn't matter if all of this gets focused onto you, especially we've seen back at EIA, EI9. TI9 with Ana. His Spectre play, right? It was all about farming in these dangerous areas, giving the team time to rotate. Even if you die, already dealt a good amount of damage. Then you buy back, then you haunt. Then what can the enemy team do equivalent you? You're essentially getting like 2.5 times worth of damage.
Very good point. How much they're going to have to nerf Spectre for it to actually not be hero? Seems to always be completely broken when it does come back into the meta. Still,
Hope goes for a similar sort of item progression that he did for game 1. Going up against a Spectre. It's going to be building into that Radiance more often than not. There's no abilities on question mark's side that are going to Brimstroke, no Terror Blade, nothing of that nature. Yeah. So you need that MKB again. You need to be able to chunk through.
Ari with a very, very there on this. Back for a...
It's fine.
That's the way to go. Okay.
It's a PA, it's alright. Don't always want to get something like an MKB super early on. You're focused more on things like the Abyss.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
Right-click
attack.
away.
Controlling the top side of the map. Thinking about going on to my pro. UW would love to get a glimpse of, but instead we'll go for some D wards now. Back down to the bot lane for him.
Radiant's bottom tower
You
is
do
under
now also
attack.
have that big B up on your Phantom Assassin. So it might be about that time. Might try for another smoke attempt. W. For that right moment. What's out? A bit wary of Leaf's positioning on the Sand King. Lane, KNP does see him, but interested in making the jump yet.
Haste.
This is a very close game, mind you. Just 1k net worth to a question mark. Pro gonna get caught out now by Shang-Chi, and they do hawk in with Haru, and that'll be dead Bat Rider very easily.
And that's the difference between game 1 and got a Spectre that can make that initiation, it can join the fights at any time. You always have the capability of leaving your base and farming in
Radiant
some
are
way,
scanning.
shape or form. They're not going to lose towers quite. They're not getting run over, right? It takes so much more effort to kill Spectre, and that's why I'm really liking the way that they're able to get out of a lot of the silence stuff that are coming through, able to get out of overgrowth with the meta style. Even the blade mail in combination with Immersion deals a ton of damage, and then you've got to deal with the Radiance on top of that. So either you leave him alone and he does a ton of damage, or you kill him and he does a ton of damage. It's Catch-22.
Smoke up from Aster Aries, they're feeling confident. You don't have that Haunter.
Are scanning.
Gonna go into Spore
Radiant's
again.
middle tower is under attack.
Should know that the smoke is happening right now from Aster Aries because they so wisely chose to do it before pushing out that mid tower. So they've seen no team in their right mind just the full creep wave go underneath. Vivid Phoenix just with using his string paint on it.
Radiant's top tower is under
See a
attack.
bunch of creeps lose some health without
Radiant
seeing anything.
structures are
That's a smoke.
fortified.
Instead, Shamark give up on their own smoke and go towards that top tier one now. And
Dire's
gonna be
middle
a
tower
big
is
tower.
under attack.
On out beforehand, you've got Leaf
Radiant's
just
top
standing
tower
here in the
is
middle.
under attack.
Is hitting
Radiant's
as
top tower
as
has
possibly
fallen.
can. Here if they go.
KMP just gonna TP up. Seems like Aster Aries are more than comfortable with just farming for now on the Spectre especially. They might have just the same idea as you, where they know they're gonna get to the late game. They know that they're gonna have to make some very hard decisions here on question mark as to how to deal with the Spectre. You can just get some form of break later on, but you don't really have the greatest, silver edge carriers or anything like that.
It's not fantastic. Like it's going to be like a roller coaster, right? Where question mark have a period where they're much stronger right now, whereas Aster Aries, as soon as they pick up that radiance, it goes back a bit more in their favor. Game Phantom Assassin can just dunk through anything.
Yeah, so up now on KMP. 100 gold for that.
Liking this pickup by the LWW. Scepter, and they found out the tree.
Static Storm, gonna be committed. Just want to guarantee the kill. They will. See, looking for more, but he won't
Radiant's
quite
middle tower
catch out
is
the
under
PA.
attack.
Neither will he catch out the Sand King.
Off the aggressive blink.
Aries, they're still chasing for more, but nobody's going to be around. Might see a counter smoke here from question mark now. They do buy one up on my pro.
General itemization and drafting this game is far and away superior to what game 1 was. On both teams, really the only one that I'm hoping to see some form of cheat move out for is my pro. If I could see him get a wind lace into a drum,
Dire's middle
right.
tower
You don't
is
really
under
need
attack.
Sages. You want to spam it out, sticky nape up in the early game with it, but beyond that,
Up. Smoke out.
He's able to keep that pushed out in the mid. They're not sitting on much.
Oh, Rico gonna run straight into them, but they not coming yet. They actually farmed the Doomfus with a great lesson on from MyPro. And now the chase is on. Rico will get knocked back by the flame break, but has MyPro gone too far? It looks like he may have. Gets into the back of the Sonic Wave will be expended. LWW and MyPro both dropping, but he's looking for another bump strike. Not quite able to find one.
Nathan, so might surprise them a little bit with the extended reach. How he doing that? You've taken out the two. MyPro dying there isn't even that huge of a deal. You picked off the Doom before he was able to get off it. Down, they've got the vision though with this
Radiant's courier has been killed.
Down.
Straight in with the Burst back down, but the Aegis it does go to KMP. Still they do kill off Leaf on Sand King. Haru is very low on HP on this Spectre. KMP is going to make the cut. He'll go to the back by taking out Rick with the Rubik. Haru being controlled, and Mikhail with the Lagoon is going to be able to deal with Spectre himself. And that's a very nice team.
Radiant's bottom tower
You do
is
lose
under
the
attack.
Aegis, but it's a pretty substantial kills here.
I'm just trying to think of, would they have been that punished here on MyPro? Would they have been that punished if you actually bought the Sacred Relic prior to that team? Because is there any situation
Radiant's
where
middle
you
tower is under attack.
initiate where going to need the buyback to defend? I don't think there is, and I think you might have been able to pick off a couple of extra heroes in the duration of that hold. It was a fantastic stun coming through from Mikhail when they did take out that Roche. I think hit onto 2, which secured
Radiant's
it for
bottom
the
tower
dire
is under
side,
attack.
but I just feel like he needed that Sacred Relic before that fight, even if it wasn't the full Radiance.
He had a bit of an unfortunate Sonic Wave there. Tail end of the first engagement as well. It was kind of weak, really hitting the tree and would have liked to see it in the Roshan fight, but it wasn't still. Another fight to break out, leaving a hit.
Radiant's middle tower is
Way
under
up, but looks like he's probably going to die unless a fire shot Geppi Center comes out from Leaf, and they do trade Phoenix for the kill. Now Rico. Aries really got no way out of this one. He'll Sandstorm, and they do have Dust already available. Now the lasso out from MyPro catching another. It is going to be the Doom being played by Sheng-Si.
Radiant's top tower.
That's a tier
is
2
under
top
attack.
tower gone.
That's a tier 2 top tower. That's Alina hitting level 20, so she's going to be hitting a truck, building her into that MKB with that quick buy, so I'm enjoying that. But it just shows you the value of giving something like a tree level of farm. Level 16 ahead of the Doom, who at that point of the start of the game was having by far and away the strongest. So that's the real value of picking these supports. And even an offlaner that can just go and take up so much more farm on them. They're not always going to be able to give 5 heroes farm, but in that early stage.
Top tower has fallen.
Rats not going to last very long at all.
Radiant's top barracks are under attack. Radiant's top
Goes.
barracks has fallen.
Cheeky is sitting
Radiant's
over
top
offside, but
barracks has fallen.
stick around. See straggler.
Radiant
W.
are scanning.
Play the right side of that lane. Rico actually going to run straight into lead. They actually to this as well.
I mean, I guess that's important if you're able to get the kill. It's another 300 gold. It brings you a lot closer to Radiant's only about 300 away now with that. Picking him up just yet, I would be a little bit more cautious considering his lack of vision. But be the Radiant complete. And now, as well as that level 20.
Dire are scanning.
It's a big power spike for them. 100 especially with counter damage.
MyPro, Sam, Fine Phoenix, can it build to hold him in? But that'll be it. He just TPs away, and now Rico trying to go for a cheeky burrow strike.
Strike into the lift, but just... This is the period of time where Haru would do super...
Yeah.
Of course they do.
Yes, they do, and they look to jump in again. Media hammer from Leona. Land on the creep wave. AMP does make his presence known on. Doesn't seem like they want this team fight, especially while they lack form.
Paladin's sword. Yeah, that's a really good item. I suppose so, given that you just got...
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
In question mark in this mid lane. Mikhail, he'll just focus down the bot tier 2 tower very quickly on that Lina.
They don't care, they're like, oh, damn fast. As a Spectre that's just picked up a Radiance at level 20, oh, we'll just take this other tower. No,
Dire's middle tower is
Dust.
under attack.
He's actually get caught by that dust, but he gets the overgrowth in time. Now the lasso is down, the Spectre still. They get the dude off with the burrow strike out. Oh, it does not look good for question mark. They've already lost 3. They might lose a 4th here in Mikhail, but no, he does TP in time. Leona X, the only man left, is also going to die.
Is under attack.
You did get the Spectre kill, but it's not worth your whole team.
Yeah, I mean, Spectre just able to dish out so much damage. Look at the fight recap. Easily the most damage being done by the Spectre just through the use of the Blade Mail. Got the Manta off, Radiance burning. What can you do against that? At this point of the game, they need to wait until they finish up this next big item. You know, the Monkey buff for the Lina. Panic on the PA. I think that's the perfect thing to try and combat this. Just look at everyone's health just melt as all of these big abilities get used.
There's actually the burrow strike of Rico coming in on Rubik. Very nice doom out from Sheng-Si, connecting on the Sand King, not allowing him to follow up at all. He was able to get a burrow strike off on Leaf. May have been a complete glory, but very, very nice doom out.
I feel like Rico's been the real star for Aster so far this tournament. Pretty rare that he's having a bad game. I think was basically non-existent as the Snapfire in game 1, let's be honest. But oh no, it was the tree. Tree that time around, so had his colors lower, let's call it that.
Yeah, MyPro. P cancellation is able to in time. Haru looking to go back towards the Radiant Triangle.
This is the style that I want to see. Might be a little too late. Oh, they
Rico
go on to the lick.
Haru's like off, but now the return Burrow is going to come to leave. We do get a BKB usage out of this cleaner, but KMP, he's not done. He wants to go after Haru. Be a little bit cautious about that blade mail, but the Haunt is going to be away from Haru. Back towards the base. Buyback was forced out from Rico.
They're fine with that. They're backing off a little bit, although they got the vision.
Mypro, a very nice lasso off onto Sheng Tsi, but he's unable to drag him to the low ground. They actually pop the drum Aries.
On the lasso as well on Rico, who's got that extra cast range too from the Aether Lens and the But I think this is the point where, question mark, they should just sit back. You've got 30 seconds until BKB is up and available. No Haunt for a full 100 seconds. Just wait for them to come back online. You've got your ultimates available. It's up in 4 seconds. I don't think you can wait for level 25, and I don't think you can wait for this full Reaver. Your time is at about the 35-minute mark. It's bound to be.
Gonna try and go towards that Reaver. Needing that Satanic to be able to sustain himself while going onto Haru. There's a Silver Edge being built up on Mikhail as well in this lane. If I'm correct in saying so. No, they switched it up to an KB now.
I'm liking the fact that Mypro is nearly finished up his Scepter though. It's going to be handy for the extra movement speed. Like we were saying before, I feel like they came with
scanning.
That's Lace. Going to have coming out to him now, but escape there from
Dagger away to the left side.
Alright, I've been talking. I hate this Treant level 15 talent. Like the extra 48 living armor heal is basically nothing. You want to be able to push out lanes as quickly as possible, and Nature's Wrath damage gets amplified. Whereas 48 heal, what realistically does that's nothing. 12 second duration.
Very good point.
It's an extra 4 healing per second. So that's nothing.
Have that.
I guess it's just an all-in on KNP side.
Pans out for him.
25. Satanic completed, but now once again available.
Dagger's up. EA. 4 supports may just get one shot by a dagger if they're not too careful. Quite a lot at the moment, KMP, and empty equipment. Aster Aries, they'll be the first one to pop their smoke.
25. Out here going a little bit greedy, just drove the levels worth away from getting that max level and attack range again.
Nice for him. Find anyone Dire side so far, question mark, just avoiding them completely.
Again, sitting around the Roche pit. We've scouted out the fact that it's here. Oh, I can go for a blink to finish it off. Not quite. Now you've got those tier 4 items available. Well, he's wanting to save this buyback. He wants to make sure that he's able to rejoin his team. Maybe resigning himself to the fact that, look, this Spectre is going to kill me.
Radiant's courier.
Either through the blade mail or just through the AoE damage coming.
Sean got scattered out by that courier from Rico. Does come down to Mikhail.
Haunt.
Aries, Haunt is there giving vision. They're gonna go. Aru, he's by himself. Question mark, didn't realize that it was Spectre. They now Haunt pops down at the lasso. He's gonna be out. They try to silence his bat right up on the dude. Still Sheng-Chi does get the dude on the PA and KNP. Oh, he just jumped in a bit too early. Now Phoenix looks to go back in onto the side of question mark. It looks like it might be a cleanup. They do get the overgrowth, however, Leona into the media hammer, holding them down, but a great burrow strike out from Rico, and that will be a wipe. It's only Mypro to the bat. Great team by Aster Aries.
It's crazy how much a millisecond can be the difference between the one and one. Just a little slow on the light strike array there on the Lena means Doom can get off the BKB, can turn around, pop everything, and then chunk down with the I thought it could have been a situation, considering they use such high duration ult like the
worked out. They do have to go back and defend. It's not like they can really capitalize on getting this Aegis straight away. What Aster Aries can do with this Aegis now.
Fine with it though, you know, Vector, post.
Dire's bottom
5.
tower is under attack.
Time.
With the Radiance, you can just toss that in a lane. I'm going your way.
Not for much more if you are Haru. Just a little net worth lead here for question mark. It's nothing.
Things up as well, going for Abyssal Blade instead of the Skadi that he had previously queued up. And enough money, or at least a micro, you're farming the creep as he does.
Nice lift up at the bot lane. They are going to catch up with Sanking once again, and that'll be Leaf gone. Pro going to spin just his lasso off, and now those taggers flying out with the overgrowth. He's flying back, wanting to come back into this team fight. This poor swap, Phoenix could not blink out in time. Now Shexi has been left behind. I thought that was a very questionable lasso for a second there, but very nice.
I think the thing that was questionable there was Aries' choice to go in at that point. Quant just came off cooldown at the end of that team fight, so it's literally waiting 5 seconds for your Spectre to A, have the finished Abyssal Blade, and B, actually be able to join these team fights, because all that I've seen and all that everyone else has seen, it's the Spectre that's been the reason why they were able to come back into this. Have a look at the network. A Doom is not going to do 2 at this 40 minutes in, it's all on Spec.
Haru. Defenses tier 3 tower. Oh, Leaf gonna get in there with the Burrow Strike, but they don't want to make the jump yet. Haru pops the Blade Meld, haunting KMP, trying to get him to come and get him. KMP, businessman, focus on business. Be the mid rats. They are gonna be able to clean it up. Now, in, Haru does commit the bash with Emphatic Storm out on this PA, but that is nowhere near enough yet. Turn around for a peek of KP, not able to get the Satanic off in time, and with that Doom, they will kill off this PA. Now the chase is on Leona X, probably also Ned and Leaf. He'll get glimpsed back from the Sand King. Does get a nice Burrow Strike off, but he should be gone.
Thinking, wow, 2v5 and you're going to be going in onto this, but aiming. 40 minutes in, Spectre with all the items that she needs, and it's what happened.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Or the PA just...
I think she just got off her Radiance, sorry, the Satanic, but it just wasn't enough. You weren't able to freely hit, couldn't get off that Phantom Strike so that you got the extra attack speed. Did go back up.
So important to try and avoid that Doom. Otherwise your PA is just nothing. Now with that, they do go through the mid, though MyPro will be skipping the creep waves and force them back.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Gale will also be there on the Lena. Aries, do you bother trying to go high ground
Dire's
here and force a
middle
buyback?
tower has fallen.
They are.
Dire's middle tower is under
Give it a
attack.
shot.
Give it a shot, just swapping in the Leveler as well. On this Spectre, you've got a minute left on this Aegis, you want to take full advantage of it.
Dire's middle tower
5 right
is under
now on
attack.
this spec, right? Aegis, Cheese, Illusionist Cape, just to send something else down another lane. You've got buyback yourself. Pretty
MyPro tried to lasso but broke the Lincolns, and now Phoenix does miss the Sonic Wave to boot. MyPro actually able to run out of it. Well, would you look at that?
Would you look at that? Turns out Batrider with movement speed is very good.
Very unfortunate for Aster Aries, and KMP now wants to go for a bit of a chase. Love to spot out the supports here, LWW and Rico, and I believe
Radiant's middle tower
a bit of
is
vision,
under
but
attack.
to go that far forward.
Yeah, they committed so much to make that reality. Back up.
Got the lasso off, and it is going to be onto LWW. He does have buyback.
Well, he was yelling that out. I've got buyback. Chill, we're good. Just defend the high ground. We've only got 1 Rax, but that's all we need.
They hold on to this Rax. It looked like question mark do want to make the high ground play. They're forcing the buyback. Aegis does spy now on Haru, so he'll instead.
throw the illusion up the lane and don't worry about it.
Just don't remind me of those times. Because with this Lena having such a huge range, she can just take the tier 3 tower out fairly easily from the low ground, but gonna need some creeps.
The one thing that's going to be super nice here, I think they're putting so much attention onto this Spectre. I don't think you should focus her unless Haunt is down. Like, just flat out
Radiant's middle
ruled.
tower is under attack.
If you can get this kill, that's going to be so much more valuable. A, because it's much easier. He's obviously got Ags as well, so a ton of lockdown. His guard, which you don't want the aura to be available for your Phantom Assassin. Titanic. And then on top of that, you've nearly finished up your Aghanim Scepter on the Sand King. Caustic Finale at this stage of the game is immense. 20% of max HP on a Doom AoE area is in... I think you just need to focus these targets that are much easier to kill,
Dire
even though the
scanning.
Spectre's the one dealing out the damage.
Spectre Illusion,
Regeneration.
run his way through. Smoke out from the question mark. Round for them to try and go on, so they might. Lanes in.
Nice
So close to
burn.
that Abyssal Blade now on your PA, and well, there it is. Just buys it outright.
Coming out as well for Sand King.
Oh. Big stun range now with that Burrow Strike. Do you want to just wait out some buyback gold here on question mark before you do go any further? Like, I don't think you could really risk taking another engagement without that buyback
Oh,
gold
they found...
available.
To pick him off, that's pretty valued.
It is.
It's the gem as well on him.
That's unfortunate. Leona X getting caught off guard, but they did not pick up the gem yet.
Hello.
Nature's Grass actually camouflaging the gem.
There he is.
Oh, that's a bit of a blunder there from Aster Aries, but I guess you're 45 minutes in. It's not too big of it.
Radiant
This is
are
a high pressure
scanning.
situation. I can understand why they might miss out on it, but super good to get it. They've been able to pass the PD.
KNP would be a massive pick-off. They can get it. Haru continues to haunt forward. Lead has Burrow. Will be able to get out. And now the lasso from MyPro. He caught Haru on the Spectre.
Have Haunt, so if they kill him, this is huge.
He's got no mana either. Haru trying to dagger away. Lead jumping in with the Burrow. Mikhail getting in there with the Laguna, but he eats the cheese and will be okay. Still, Overgrowth is out now from Leona with the Meteor Hammer. Not going to follow up. Lead gets the epicenter Burrow, but it's still not enough. Haru slowly dropping it does, but here comes Sheng-Chi back on that Lena with Infernal Blade. It's not going to be enough. She gets fuels off, but Rico gets in with the Burrow Strike once again back onto that PA, and they will be able to get him. KNP
Sound of
let's go down. Both POS ones losing their lives.
Buyback being expended by this stream. So some nice value there. Rico again, MVP of that team fight, making sure that the Spectre wasn't
Dyer's
down with a
bottom
Meteor
tower
Hammer
is
on top.
under attack.
Everything else was being thrown his way, and then just the stolen burrows value at this game, especially, well, you can see
Dyer's bottom
Rico, he
tower
needs to
has
pick up an
fallen.
Ag Scepter for himself, because I actually haven't tested this, and I'm curious about it. If you get kind of similar to where the Veno Plague Wards give you Poison Sting, if you've got that, would it give the Caustic Finale buff as well when you use...
I'm going to go ahead and say no. All right.
I'm optimistic.
I'd love to see it. Let's see it happen. Still a while away from that Aghanim Scepter, but very, very nice bonus for Rico. Speaking of bonuses, Roshan's up.
agony awaits them.
Horn, double Sonic Wave, even double Static Storm or Doom would be fantastic this game. Haven't really gone for it quite yet.
Though, and we've got some gem on gem action. They were able to recover that one for the Dream Protector, and Disruptor's holding one, as well as his own Ags. So this is a game of Ags right now.
Next Aegis side, victor of this game. Wenchel, especially if it was on question mark. Love to have that secondary life on this Phantom Assassin. Make sure the initial Doom doesn't mean much.
what Rico's doing. Like, he's just been popping that ninja gear, walking around on his own, but if he gets picked off, he's just straight dead. Like, it's not like he has a gem and he's trying to scout out if they had any vision, which he would have seen if he walked over that observer ward that they've got in the dire jungle. But I suppose maybe just trying to pop a smoke, considering that he does have buyback available for him.
Nice visual. Actually allows you to have that so much value.
Double damage.
Go on an adventure, you know?
Adventure.
Up by the quap. How many couriers are around this Roche pit? 3?
Can't miss out on the Aegis dropping, but someone's gonna kill the Roshan first, guys. Couriers may not matter too much. They do look pretty, however, around the Roshan, I guess. Positive. To Aries. Posturing around that low ground.
Slowly trying to gain some more ground. I think this outpost as well is super. Sneak it here on Haru.
Radiant are scanning.
They're going to get that 50-minute experience bonus as back to the fight if they are engaged short.
Waiting both teams. There are creeps in Radiant base now, which is going to mean you're probably going to have to send someone back to defend from Aster Aries.
I'll take your
If it's anyone, you'd rather just send the Spect on. Put his way back in, and that's exactly what they'll do. Haru. PP.
But as well, can you imagine that? Trying to burst through all of this damage. He's still got the blade mail. I think it's value to hold on to it. You know, he's done by far the most damage this game thus far, and want to deal with it. Right now, the pressure's on the PA. Doesn't have buyback just yet. They're the ones that really need this Roche. So Aries are able to play appreciating that.
Still, they just send couriers in. To Aries. Ebon correctly.
They've got enough for the heart as well as buyback now. Being rushed out onto him. He's pushing that mid lane out, and they're making some aggressive movements.
Play here from Aster Aries. LWW is going to get spotted, but Rico gets the Burrow Strike on the Sand King first. Now the Haunt does go, still Lasso. Does catch out Shang-Chi, and the Overgrowth is also there. Sonic Wave being expended. Shang-Chi, he is gone. So is Leona Air. Phoenix, that is a lot of damage you're taking. Surge, now the Burrow Strike epicenter on Rico, trying to get rid of this Rubik. They are very, very close, and it looks like they are going to be able to kill him off. Buyback's being suspended left, right, and center. It's a 4v5 situation. Make it a 4v4 now as LWW does die, but there goes MyPro. He'll buy back.
Hiding around Haru. They're doing a really good job right now on question mark. So many buybacks expended for that though. What was that? 5? Crazy stuff.
A lot of buybacks, but Rico.
The fallen
Rubik.
tribe rises again.
They use another buyback on LWW, so it'll make it 6.
Taking the Roche, they got to make something happen. It's still a 5v4 though for Aster Aries, so they have to feel confident going into this, especially considering Doom did not use that away from the Disruptor ulti, although he might have to defend his base. It's being overrun.
That's what he's doing. MyPro getting vision on the Bat Rider. They are ready to jump in here for question mark. Again, it is 4v5. You might just want to do a bit of a hit and run here if you are question mark, but depends on whether Aster Aries is going to continue. Shot. Haru. Slow process for him. Got to deal with those creeps.
See Leaf, he's the one standing on the front lines here. He's the only non-positioned one that has buyback in this.
Might be the one to jump in first. Still, Flame Break again going to delay things.
I do not know about that choice from Mikhail to TP down to the bottom side of the map. That's just
now the lift up and the Doom Static Storm being committed, and they have found out the PA. That'll be KT gone. Now, flip this back onto MyPro, but they've lost Leaf on the Thanky. They'll buy back immediately. Lasso, can they be committed? By MyPro, that'll be LWW dying back with the Roshan. It's so low. Can they make it back in time? They're TPing to the outpost, but it's going to go down very soon. Haru does manage to get the Aegis. Cheese is on the deck. Rico will blink in and take it for himself, but now do you want to take this fight? Question mark. They're thinking about it. Haru is taking a substantial amount of damage. The overgrowth is out. KMP jumping back in onto that Zoom. He is low. He's gone. Now Rico being jumped by KMP. Getting pretty darn quick here, KMP, but not getting lucky with the crits. Haru is basically the only one left in this team fight. The Quant has basically left the building, but Haru is still standing his ground. Another pro strike out from Leaf. They do get the Aegis. How are we going to get back into this one? A pistol blade is out, but a great bar strike in from Still Phoenix, jumping back in now with that fear and scream. KMP going to just focus on the clock, but Haru's going to double kill. Now Phoenix min the BKB. Haru gets another one. This time MyPro on the Batrider, and KP, he cannot afford to die right now. He does not have buyback. But he's gone on Haru. Able to just get a triple kill on Mikkel.
The throne?
He is rushing for the throne. It is exposed right now. Nobody was defending the base of Mikkel. Gonna try and get the Ancient. They do force the cliff. And this leader is also gonna die. An ultra kill out for the Spectre. Haru.
Oh, what is going on? Why would you do that? Like, you know they have glyph available. You haven't made any sort of pushes onto the high ground in recent times. Only two people with buyback are, ironically, this Treant who wasn't part of that team fight for the biggest amount of time. And you can see what's happening here. Desolators on both the Queen of Pain as well as the Spectre. They want to end this game right now. You know there's no way for the cause to come back into this.
Very close game. Do they have the time? I mean, if you could just rush the tier 4 towers, you should be on Aster Aries. Those Desos are... Oh no, Divine Rapier. That's more like it, I'd say.
That's what we want to do.
Yeah.
You're gonna drop. Probably his boots. No, you gotta free a slot. Ignore the courier.
Can't put him in the backpack, Haru.
Haru? Hello?
He's forgotten.
Oh.
Divine's on the way home. Alright. No Divine for Haru. Let's see if this costs him. He's going to go for the melee barracks, but no, the ping comes out for the tier 4 towers. There's your courier going back the other way now. Courier working overtime.
Tree's back alive.
He is.
He's got the buyback. So Living Armor immediately popped onto it. Do they have a repair kit? That would be awesome.
No, they do not. Living Armor is all they have. He picks the bot at least another 15 seconds. There's the overgrowth coming in, but they are just going to burst down very, very quick. Now onto the Ancient. He can buy back, but it looks like they are just going to let it go down, and this will be going to a game number 3.
Wow. Back and forth game. I thought Aries were panicking a little bit after they took that successful Roche fight, but
Who wants cookies? Who wants cookies? Well, too bad. Well, too bad.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are here for game number 3 between Aster, Aries, and the side of question mark. It is MLP Dota and Danog once again. Danog, I believe the last game went.
I can, based on how some of those team fights went and questionable decision-making decisions, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of nerves going on, right? Like, people can compare it when they've got this eagle-eye view, and they can see everything when they've got vision of both teams, but day, Dota is a pretty stressful game when it comes. You can see how it goes.
I'll tell you what, these drafts have got me. Arc Warden, Terrorblade, it's what a game we're in for, sir. I said 55 minutes last game, God only knows how long this one's going to take.
We will see. You've also got that Tree and Protector to do plenty of... I think question mark have a slightly better draft this time around. You've got... It's kind of similar to what Aries drafted from game 1, right? Where you had this situation where you had the Treant and the Snapfire, you had this setup for them. You have a team fight potential with Kisses. Hopefully they itemize it a little bit free, as well as you've actually got this person that wants to frontline. Micro, he's going to need to look at that sacrificial style to make sure that he's living at the start of his team fight. Beyond that, it's just up to the rest of his team. I'm thinking that plus the fact that it's on the server might give...
30 seconds to
Forget
battle.
about the servers, of course. Yeah, you are right, it is back the way of Singapore, so if it does affect anything or question mark, it is an Arc Warden after all. You do need to have the best ping possible for the... Sure, I don't play personally, Danog. People out there, they enjoy this these free win hero and KNP.
Some people are masochists.
Yeah,
I agree.
I mean, I was trying to say it nicely, but thank you for that, Danog. Found the spark rates there on the banner rune spot, and that will be a fair bit of harassment out, but it's going to be 2 bounty runes for each side. 3. Of course, this time around, this mid lane, very, very different heroes here. We have the Queen of Pain versing...
I mean, you'd think that this is going to be Queen of Pain favored. You're not going to be doing all that much harass except for that Shadow Strike, and how the Void Spirit decides to level up his ability. And Pulse, which he's got at level 1 to make sure he can do that range creep, isn't all that effective against him.
Damage. Phoenix, you need to be a little bit cautious about how close you do get to this hero, as it does tend to hit very, very hard. Bot lane, we'll see MyPro and Leaf with each other up against LWW and Haru. Committed the first meta of the game. And when you do look at the matchup, it shouldn't be too easy of a laning stage here for Haru up against MyPro and Leaf. Especially just the LC alone can be a real pain to deal with as a Terrorblade.
It can be a pain to deal with, I suppose, but you've also got the fact that how many points are you going to get into this? You want to be used commanded to try and stop that aggression coming through, but I think it's more of a necessity if you get more than... With this disruptor, Haru might be in a little bit of trouble here, getting chased down.
Scatter Blast did slow him down for a little bit, but it's just going to be a harass out on Haru. Be able to salve up and be just fine. WW going to force the back as he does. Salve. Quite yet, still top lane. Rico. Very, very low, and with that flux, it is going to end up being enough for KNP. It's something you have to watch out for, that flux damage.
It's a nice start, and the fact that MyPro and Leaf were able to restrict this Terrorblade to the same number of blast hits while in that meta form. Mighty
WW going down very easily to Leaf and MyPro. I said it was going to be a hard lane for the Terrorblade, but even for this poor Disruptor, you get caught by that Scatter Blast slow, and suddenly you are more than likely just dead.
Yeah, I wonder if he might bring some vision back to this. Sacrificed his own clarity to make sure that he's able to do that.
5. Out from our Disruptor. Back into that mid lane. Phoenix, he's having a decent old time. Just hasn't really been harassed out of this lane of the Void Spirit. Is even with the Quap in terms of last hits, and suppose as the levels go up, there might be a little bit more kill potential between these two, but for now, they will just be farming still top lane. The NAX a little bit low, and actually a lot lower with that whirling death does go down to Rico. Clockwork.
Yeah, not really in too much danger of the turnaround potential. Still had the Wraith fans coming KMP on the side, so he wasn't able to just sit back and right. Now, it's the real dangerous part. We've got this Timber Saw. Shang-Chi, he's level 3. Reactive armor started to stack up, and really at the stage where he can just stay standing underneath tier 1 tower. Rico, who's in the side with a rotate. Think toward power rune on the.
My thanks.
Ari will pop the second meta of the game now. Really spamming it every time it's off cooldown, and that's the way to play it. But looking in from Leaf and MyPro. The overwhelming odds. On kinetic field, gonna hold in Leaf. Haru does not feel safe enough to close the gap there onto the Snapfire, so we'll go for the harass on MyPro. But I love the fact that even with the meta up, they are more than comfortable just running at the side of this Radiant end.
Nice team play coming through there from Rico. Was able to deny away the damage route. Kale's not going to pick it up. Has the model available for him. Stamp himself here in play with dominance coming.
Denied!
Much to be expected from the Void Spirits. Just so much magic damage. The levels go up, and Cal's going to have to be pretty careful once you hit that level 6 mark. Just get a little bit spicy here.
And only level 1 as well, so it's not like you're ability to have
Nice Aether Remnant. Slowly pulling away at that HP pool. The Quab still looking back up to that top lane. Timber, good old game so far. Hasn't really been able to slow down KMP too much on the Arc Warden yet, but bot lane, LWW going to get caught by the Cookie, and MyPro is trying to close the gap. Body blocks aren't going to be as effective as you would hope from Leaf, and he's going to go for a TP play now, but they have the damage output. There's going to be another TP from Rico to try and, he was going to try and help out, but now he's just kind of stuck here.
I suppose it's okay considering they were away from Haru for a decent amount of time. Able to catch up somewhat on last hits. The thing about level with all the other cores in the game, it's only the but that's the thing with Timber, right? Especially now, just hit onto his level 5, 3 points in reactive armor. Have the greatest kill potentials just yet? Question mark. It's too mobile to be able to 1 point into the chain. You're talking get out of any sort of nature's grasp. So I think until they have the overgrowth available, you're not going to get a kill. Maybe if corporate.
Just hitting the level 6 mark now, Mikal having to go all the way back to the fountain.
Rotation speeding, considering it, having just picked up that illusion towards that top side, but it's better of it. Stay, keep this wave pushed into tower as much as can. What I'm gonna do? Come down towards the bottom side. They're trying to get a kill on Rico here, but wisely TP away.
Radiant's tower is under attack.
Rico, more than safe. Might even just start pressuring that bottom tier 1 tower. They do have the siege creep there now. Rico, obviously not the best at defending towers. Still mid lane lead. Have the living armor to keep him up.
Bottom tower is under
Damage
attack.
coming in from Phoenix, and he doesn't bother going for the secondary astral step. Then he might have to run his way down bot. His tier 1 is still going, but top lane, KMP, gonna be chased down by our Timber. Leaves TP in on the Snapfire, and it looks like our Timber Saw might be dropping very, very low. Another Spark Wraith, and he's gone. KMP, some nice jukes out. LWW.
Yeah, they're going to get this Disruptor as well, you would think.
A way to run for him. He does get the clips off, but they got the Nature's Grasp off in time with the Scatter Blast to fly out. LWW will kinetic field, hoping for the neutrals to deny him, but now Leap does go down to Phoenix. They do actually end up saving LWW on the Disruptor.
Done. Resulted in both of those Astral Steps being used, so it's not the worst. It means the Queen of Pain can play a little bit more balls and make these risk plays happen. Nice Ocean Heart being grabbed from neutral camper as well means that Phoenix doesn't even walk on back.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
One as well. Balance in all things, guys.
Very nice. Shengxi just gonna stay up at this top lane and keep buying space for his Terrorblade, who is just farming the jungle at the moment and probably gonna be there for quite a while. KMP doing the normal Arc Warden things, rushing a Midas. I'd expect nothing less.
About a kill here onto the clockwork. You've got my pros just level 6. What's that low ground? I think they've seen it. Radiant side, so has to be careful. Top side, this is where the action is though.
It's not about this time. A lot of damage up, but Phoenix is trying to help out. It looks like they might lose Shengxi, and they do eventually, but you lost 2 supports in the process. MyPro even TPing up on the Legion Commander.
Radiant's middle tower is under
Phoenix,
attack.
I'd still call that a decent rotation.
It's a pretty decent rotation, and Aries, they free up the space for Haru to make a lot of this happen. I think if they got the dual damage, that might have been okay for a question mark. The fact that eventuated from it other than PB just getting some space to farm.
Gonna make his way up top. We'll see kinetic field onto MyPro, and the hook shot is going to connect on a creep, but MyPro is still trapped within the cogs. Again, they just collapse on this Legion Commander. With that, they can actually get this top tier 1 tower. Living armor is going to be nowhere near enough to keep it alive.
So it gets all those reactive armor stacks up with the creep wave and just tanking the tower hits as well. They're totally happy with this, and they're all in position to be able to contest
Dire's top
bounty
tower
runes
has
side.
fallen.
I think they
Radiant's middle tower
down
is under
towards mid
attack.
tier 1, honestly. There's not that much that they can do to push them back. It's at least tree dense area, I suppose. So tree and protector is not quite as effective. Quite as there.
W, he's looked glimpse attempt, but Kel was able to blink out of range. Had that been a max level glimpse, it may have been a different story. 3 at the moment. Haru,
Dire's middle tower
that
is
better
under
now,
attack.
going into that mid-tier 1
Dire's
tower.
structures are
Leaf will be
fortified.
around to defend, and so will MyPro. A lot of heroes here from Aster, Aries, and saw him about a minute ago. They fighting, I'm sure. Aries. Let it be.
I think if that had been at like they would have stayed and tried to contest that even though meta was running out. But just because it had reached that 10-minute mark, you have the risk of the overgrowth and the mortar being available, and you never want to push into that this early.
That T1 tower up. X gonna be on defense duty. MyPro and Leaf going for a cookie attempt, but it was just barely off Phoenix. We do have that jewel available that we haven't really seen in this game yet. MyPro is still looking for that opportunity.
They would have committed it.
Lane, hook shot is going to be out onto the real KMP. And as you are watered, there is not really much you can do to protect yourself here. We'll try and get a trade with the Tempest double, and LWW is not going to survive. They did manage to get one final hit in.
At the Midas, very
Nice indeed. Does lose his life in the end. Unfortunately, question mark, they're still just trying to get Phoenix in this mid lane. Juke them out with the Dissimilate.
I'm a little worried the fact that Arc Warden is still ahead of the Terrorblade despite all the space being created for him. Sure, he's got a Midas, but still, you have to think that Haru needs to start making a lot more plays happen around the map. No points yet in the map fields, so the towers need to start. That becomes... this mid one, man. Even if you're able to take out double, it's pretty valuable.
Radiant's middle tower is
That's
under
what accelerates
attack.
your farm ahead of you. Arc Warden on his own doesn't really do. You need the Midas, you need the Maelstrom, which is about halfway to. Oh, they hooked the real one on the bot side near the tower.
They have ANP going down again. Rico, very, very effective on this clockwork so far. And MyPro is going to go for a dual attempt with the Mortimer's Kisses. They do get it, but he has a lot of reactive armor going. He's just not dying. They do commit the Sonic Wave eventually, but now Phoenix coming in with a DD. Going to go after MyPro. The cookie will get him out of the cogs. Meta from Haru still doing a lot of damage with the glimpse back, and they'll do eventually kill off the LC. So both off-lane is going down, and Aries, they are going to focus down that tier 1 mid tower once again.
3 ultis committed just to kill the Timber Sword. Didn't even get the dual damage. Nice rocket flare there by Rico to scout it out, but the all-important mid tier 1 tower going down. And be the game decided by vision. We talk about the Arc Warden needing some of these key items to come up online before he can actually achieve his win condition. If you're able to catch him out before then, suddenly question mark don't have too much ammunition to be able to. So really nice observable near the Dire.
Aries looking good match. I believe this is the first match, in fact, where within the first 15 minutes they've had the net worth lead. And that's a real problem, especially for KNP, who's been called out twice on the Arc Warden so far. Noble quite quickly on this hero. Otherwise, it turned into a much tougher game. Rico has the hook shot up. Lee, but he's going to go for the other hookshot attempt onto Micro, and again connects it perfectly. Micro will press the attack and run, but they definitely have a lot of damage out. In fact, there's 4 heroes coming in. Phoenix now jumping in, getting a dominating spree, and he will get another. Leaf also going down to LWW. Love this aggression from Aster. Aries
is under attack.
Yeah, it's working perfectly. I mean, I know I highlighted the effectiveness of that Observer Ward that previously caught out the Arc Warden, but it's just had a compound effect as well. With that one, they were able to push forward, get a kill onto 2 heroes, and in the meanwhile, you've had a Treant Protector who potentially been protecting his team, but he had to use sentry wards just to find that one clever, elusive sentry that was placed down previously. Really good value coming out here. Warding's important.
Warding is very important, sir. Control that die triangle, of course, question mark. I'm gonna get back in my pro. Press the attack again. Phoenix is just waiting for it. Seeing how far he'll go. Leona X, Nature's Grasp. There, Mikhail gonna jump in now. They commit the overgrowth. They should be able to get these supports. Static Storm has been committed. Rico trying for a hook, but can't quite catch on to Phoenix. The LWW trying to get out of there, but eventually does go down with the Disruptor. Thought that could have been pretty bad, question mark, but ultimately Aster Aries decided not to fight it out.
No, I think they were kind of a little lost as to what they were expecting to happen there. Phoenix was in position to be able to follow up, unlike here where he's got the assistance of Sheng Ci. Pops Mikhail.
Great pick-off. I'm sure you lost both your supports, but killing off that mid-quap is going to feel a lot nicer here for Aster Aries, and well, they go straight onto a bottom tier 1 tower.
You know that Overgrowth was used in that previous big team fight around the mid tower. You know that Mortimer's Kisses were just used. So now you can just park your Timber Sword down here on the bottom side. He's tanking up the tower hits. Best to take down this tier 1, but unless you've got the TV assisting you, you're probably not going to make it happen.
Slow process. KP be in with the Tempest Bubble. That Midas on cooldown. They will just rush the Tempest Double now, but won't be able to lock it down long enough, so back towards that tier 1 tower.
His bottom tower is under attack.
Should eventually drop. Living armor delaying just a little bit, but they do get it.
But this is the thing, right? They know that the Terrorblade isn't there, otherwise that tower would have gone down so much faster. Why then do you not try and make a gang squad happen with MyPro and the rest of the supports to try and find the TV? Because he's clearly somewhere else. You've got decent vision that's not, you know, tri-camp area. You know he's probably not on this top side because that's where you've been hanging around. So where's left? They're tri-camp and they're jungle. So try and make one of them happen. Even if you don't find him, you can maybe get a pincer move. Shot there. Fine leave still.
Trouble on the northern side. Leaf is going to lose his life to Phoenix. Now, want to go for more. Jewel is going to be on the Timber Sword again. So Phoenix has a free game to just jump in with Incinerate. Now, Aster locking in Mikhail. Overgrowth not going to be there in time. They do end up killing off the Timber, but at what cost? Rico does finally drop it. Now Haru does join the fray. Side's better of it. You get 2 for 2.
I like the commitment there coming through from Shenxi. It was on about 100 HP, was going to tick down to the Shadow Strike anyway. If armor stacks onto him. So just fully suicidally committing in and blowing up Mikhail one more time means that the pressure on this Terrorblade is much less. Need a 30. I'm a little surprised that Question Mark still committed forward Legion Command.
Dire are
Because
scanning.
Snapfire had just died. You're not going to be able to pop a Tempest in that amount of time without the Mortimer.
That's what I was about to ask you. Why do they keep dual Timbersaw?
By doing the Timber, you just need the magic damage to make it happen. And they have it. It's as simple as that.
Right. Might go for a smoke. Yeah, they will. Leave KMP behind. Or buy space
Radiant
the
are
Arc Water.
scanning.
He's got the Boots of Travel. He's going to be able to join in at some...
Dire's top
Finished.
tower is under attack.
Target they want to run into. It's going to be LWW, but
That's
they'll
a much
take what
easier.
they can
Radiant's
get.
middle tower is under attack.
When you start.
Not quite what you want for a 4-man smoke, but I guess you just take it.
You take it. If you could transition that into a mid-tier one, you're pretty happy.
Try.
Radiant structures are fortified.
That magnetic field. Great combination.
I mean, the fact that you're at a net tower disadvantage with a Treant Protector on your team is never a good sign.
True.
Think of those. Hating to go into, you'd think. If I want to push, what heroes don't I want on the other team? Venomancer, Treant Protector, Arc Water. So they got 2 of those. It's not. Well, I guess it's Here it is.
Let's not give these guys any ideas, right? I can't put up with this absurdity. Alright. Working straight for the BKB up next, so just be able to fight with his team, and we have seen that a bit in the previous engagements. He does like to get involved if he does have the Metamorphosis up and available. That BKB is going to feel a lot safer moving in with this team. He's had the Manta up for such a long time now. Question Mark haven't really been able to slow this man down at all. He's had such a free game on this Blade.
He's had a free game, and he's gone this unselfish journey. You know, he's gone into the plus 250 health, attack
Radiant's
speed, so
middle
despite the
tower
fact
is
that he's
under
just been
attack.
able to sit back and farm wherever he wants, they haven't punished him for it, right? So if they did, I suppose he might take a little bit longer to die. They would show up and maybe get the turnaround kill with the rest of the heroes on Aries, but weaken somewhat of their objective take.
Going on, they have found that Timbersaw again, and they are going to be able to kill him.
No dual win.
It's a bit unfortunate. Take what you can get. Question mark 2. I still just question allowing Haru to do this. Like, hasn't been touched on this terribly.
He hasn't been touched, but by the same measure, neither really has KNP outside of a couple nice hook shot there. So I think they're generally okay with it. He's nearly the Mjolnir, so he's going to be able to push lanes out exclusively with his Tempest double. And you've still got a Terrorblade ranged hero into a magnetic. It's not a great
Whips. Out, the Treant Protector. TB, not going to be able to work out. Phoenix managed to connect the Aether Remnant.
They're lost. I'm assuming Packer lost.
Yeah. Fine.
Very
Yeah,
nasty.
Leona's asking the real question. Still, how do you think the state of the game is? Like, Aster Aries obviously ahead, 4k net worth lead. The Arc Warden though, KMP, you mentioned it, he's farming, he's getting there, he does have the Maelstrom up.
About 150 or so away from them. That's nice for him, but you have to think about the later stages of the game. We talked about on the panel issues that Question Mark have had with... It's all well and good to be able to bend endlessly, Protector and the Arc Warden. When you try to take the initiative, it happens. So I feel like their lineup is so much more based around getting this pick, scaling into the late game, and just overwhelming them with heroes against the wall.
It's fair. You think Aster Aries are more the team kind of have on a timer here?
I think so. They've got some good timing so far with the TB, but you need to make something. especially with the...
We can't go yet, so you Void Spirit. Go.
He knows. But yeah, like, you've got a Timbersaw, right? He drops off. That's just a foregone conclusion. You can get a Lotus Soul for yourself and give it to the TB, or maybe even Lincoln's, and that'll help him out a little bit. Same thing with the Void Spirit. Yeah, you can get the Silence, which is going to be handy against the like of a Queen Pain, but it's the Terror Blade that's doing. And if you've got a direct counter on the other team that's still having a pretty decent game, you've got to be at least a little...
Daniel, do you think you can get a new hero?
I think it's going to be Valkyrie. People have...
Valkyrie?
Yeah, people... There were some leaked files and stuff with like Vampire, Puppet Mark. And I just think that because TI-10 was supposed to be Sweden, Valkyrie is kind of like... Maybe that was how they...
I didn't even realize there was a Valkyrie coming. I'd heard of his...
Murmurings as well about heroes called Aster and a vampire type in a certain other MOBA that saying maybe I'm keen on them. Give me Chipper, give me Bombadil.
Gonna have a look at not many couriers going on though. Mostly the... That's obviously a...
They got to up there.
I think so.
Bloodhound, right? Saint Bernard? Like, you know the Saint Bernards that go on the Alps and they have the little brandy around their neck for travelers and that.
Plus, there is a reconnection now. We're going ahead to unpause this game. We are voting for the Arcana vote. Love of God, no stuff.
Witch Doctor. Give him the vote.
I voted Witch Doctor.
Rest well. Your
Back
death
into
has
things, and
consequences.
I think they need to get up a smoke, even if it's not to quickly find any heroes. They need to get some people right now and
Radiant's middle tower
are
is
going
under
to
attack.
enable them to make these sorts of happen. They should have seen where that rocket flare came from if they were paying attention to the left side of the map, but it doesn't look like they're making too many moves, so this is exactly what Aries need to do. They're quickly taking Haru, second line can be handy, although they give it to the Void Spirit now that he's picked up his Ag Scepter. Typically, you want to go into it straight away as a first item. You want to transition from build up feels so underway. He's had a decent game himself. Now's the GOAT.
Some good pass to Aries. He gets smoked right into that die side triangle. Haru on the front lines. That is done. Run into the Tempest double. You break his smoke on it, and he'll just accept the gold, or maybe not. The magnetic field gonna buy some time, but no. It does go down. They look for more.
Has been killed.
See you later.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
That'll be it though. Tempest double and a courier.
Good reactions from question mark, but keep saying it, you can't be reactionary. Meta of Dota. You need to be playing proactively. The enemy team, do something to what you're doing. Have them on the back foot, because otherwise,
Dire's middle
game
tower is under
where
attack.
they can do it a little bit with the Arc Warden draft. LWW is the main priority.
Great hook shot in from Rico onto lead. He's going to stop any form of Mortimer's Kiss from flying out. Sonic Wave is going to be there, and the Overgrowth is also out. Now the Mortimer's Kiss do come in, but they are still going. Aster Aries willing to fight. MyPro needs to go for a run. Leaf will do the same. Chakram in from Shade City. Rico dying to KP on the Arc
Radiant
Warden.
are
That was
scanning.
Tempest double off the clockwork. So 2 for 1 so far, the Quap losing her line.
That is perfect.
But Aster Aries, you supports, you get the mid Quap. Are you really upset?
I don't think you're upset because it could have gone so much worse. You know, they got the Blink duel onto Void Spirit, so he wasn't really a factor in that team fight in terms of defensive potential, but you want to be building up that dual damage.
Dire's
My
middle
pro.
tower is under attack.
around a bit too long in the mid lane. Cookie, save from lead. Seeing if he can go for more, but not.
That disruptor should be targeted. Speaking of, that's talking about handing him the hook shot.
That's a big pick-off. KNP
If you come back, I'll
down
kill you
again. And Rico, of all people, to take it on the clockwork.
VP from game number 2. Rico, he's been fantastic with these hook shots landing. And it's typically LWW that plays the clock on Aster Aries, so he's fitted into this drop.
Is under attack.
And he has. They're going to slowly start chipping away at that mid-tier 2 tower now. Living armor going to delay things, but
That is up. Like, you can push.
Dire's
35 seconds,
structures
no
are
arc warded. They're forced to pump the glyph. That might kind of reveal the fact that
Dire's middle
arc
tower
warded is in no
under
position to
attack.
defend right now.
Dragon Scale even helping out on Shang-Chi. 2 is certainly gone.
Radiant's top tower
Need
is
to
under
pop the meta
attack.
just yet, but the fact that you can now take away the
Dire's middle
outpost
tower
from
has
question mark
fallen.
is a bonus.
Rock it on.
But they could tend to just pick up these. It's going to be a 2-for-2 trade, and we talk about some of that vision that they needed to get up. Now's the time where you have the freedom to play.
Haru looks like he wants to go for another bottom tier 2 tower now.
Wonder if someone thought out this. Just placed in front of the tier 3 tower in mid,
Dire's
because the
bottom
sentry's
tower
only got
is
about
under
5
attack.
seconds left on it, so that creep wave not going to walk over it in time. Delete nighttime to save Aster. Super deep and super hard to deal with.
Radiant's
WW.
middle tower
Gonna
is
run
under
into
attack.
Leon X.
Dire's
avoid each
bottom
other.
tower has fallen.
Look around, see if you can spot anyone out.
Tier 2 towers without having to use the meta. Like, that is a big deal. And they've still got how long? A minute left on the Aegis. So now you've still got that capability. They're going to go in, found my bit.
No. Yeah. Still safe, but they're just going to let Rico hook shot in. Hogs push back to the low ground, but Phoenix is still going to have the damage output, so it's no real problem.
Radiant structures are fortified.
KMP trying to split push with Tempest double. Not really being that.
As best he can. LWW, I think, has auto attack on because he attacked that Legion Commander up onto the high ground. So that did reveal that they had that vision up
Radiant's
there.
top tower
They
is
made
under
sure that
attack.
Let's go back to the point you were mentioning before, where it's about being proactive rather than reactionary here for question mark. We just haven't seen them
Radiant's top
smoke up and try to
tower
take a
has
big
fallen.
team fight. That lead is in a spot of trouble now. Phoenix is going to get a very easy Yules into the ace. The Remnant leaves still alive. The Overgrowth is going to come out. They're just trying to get the Snapfire out of here. A great Sonic wave in from out Quap. The Aegis will also expire on Haru, so it looks like that's time for Aries to back off.
Leaf's still alive. He had an urn on him as well, but the getting on point with that living armor from Tree and Protector
you
and standing
sass
underneath
me.
the tier 4 towers
So many
made sure he didn't get ticked down from it. That he's been great all game so far, Rico, but he missed with his hook shot there. I think that is a completely different team fight if he go soak up a lot of that save potential.
At what point do question marks start fighting back? I mean, it's been so defensive. Is plan just keep buying space for KMP to keep split push?
That's all they have. They've got at their disposal. Those 10-second BKB on the Queen of Pain is nice, but you need to be roaming as a squad with the Legion and Snapfire to be able to take full advantage of that. Snapfire is pretty tanky. Greaves, stats from Clumsy Net, Wand, that's all you need as a strength hero. Like,
Back to farming for KMP. He's working towards that MKB now on this Arc Warden. Haru doing the exact same thing, also trying to get an MKB up on this Terror Blade, and tells me it might be a little bit more effective on this TB.
now that he's got the Skadi as well, that extra HP means that even if you do get this 4-man smoke rotation through, it doesn't guarantee a kill, even in the duration of the
Dire's top tower is under
living armor,
attack.
but I don't think they're in it. You're going to try and find Leona, but
Radiant's bottom tower is under
Tier 2 top
attack.
tap. Oh, though. It's gone. That's your final outer tower now. Question mark going down.
Dire's top
They
tower
are not
has fallen.
even trading the bottom.
Radiant's bottom tower
Tower.
is under
They
attack.
have to. In my mind, they absolutely have to do a play like that because then you can set up, you can have the Snapfire in an advantageous position, and more importantly, you can take back one of the outposts. You're going to be falling further and further behind if you don't.
I agree.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
Hasn't been
attack.
happening. KNP, he'll go in. Tempest double once again, but even avoid the tower, go after that creep wave, see if you can catch it up.
Anyway.
Still, I mean, Aster Aries just controlled the map. They have a 9k net worth lead. Only kills ahead, but with a 9k net worth lead, not going to feel great taking a fight, but question mark.
This is legitimately one of these games where Arc Warden dies without buyback and Aster Aries just wins.
Yep.
He had 2200 gold and he's just used it on a Demon Edge, so he will not have buyback for the longest amount of time.
Radiant's bottom tower
Not necessarily
is under
pressure,
attack.
I'm not sure if Rico realizes it, but he is the game-winning condition again. Where I feel like he did it that time in game number 2 with those Burrow strikes on the Rubik. But I accept it.
You can't even blame Aster Aries for not trying to make a high ground play anytime soon either. When you control the whole map like this, just
Radiant's bottom
it's
tower
almost a
is
free
under
win to
attack.
just keep farming, while question mark don't.
Well, I still think there's a point where the Arc wouldn't come back into things. You know, he's going into the MKB, which I think is good. You know, you need it to be able to burst through a lot of this damage quickly, but will it be enough? I'm not quite so sure.
W, they wanted the glimpse on that Tempest double, but complete behind the wheel there on the disruptor. Oh.
Both round, but clockwork. That's the more important.
Imagine Aster Aries might just want to go for the next Roshan plays. Is up.
Radiant's bottom tower is
Up.
under attack.
20 as well on the Void. By the way, we love to
Perfect.
see it.
Love to see that. The faster you can blow up KMP, the better. Cares for magnetic field if you have a Dagon 5.
They're all clustered around this area. Void Spirit's probably the furthest one away. Trying to get that myself, but like when you're baiting it a little bit, I feel on. But how much of it is bait? How much of it is being in a
Radiant's
poor
top
position? 'Cause
tower
I
is
feel like
under
he could have
attack.
died a couple of. They've spotted out the fact that Roche is up though. Aries make a beeline for it. It's got the telescope. Super handy, given the extra range as well. TV.
Dream.
Dire
Dream for every position 5. Aster Aries. For a quick Roshan play, they know their bot lane is just slowly being
Radiant's top
pushed in.
tower is under
And I
attack.
mean slowly, it's really only Leona X, Mikkel there. KNP gonna push it top lane with the Tempest
Your
up.
song has fallen to the radiant.
He just
Radiant's
goes
top
for
tower is
Aster
under
Aries.
attack.
Double damage is still active for Phoenix, so if you can catch someone else, very easy kill for the Void Spirit.
See, now this time on the Treant Protector, I don't mind seeing a force because your game completely revolves around this Arc Warden surviving and being in the right position. And there's a clockwork. Probably going into the, the plus power cogs hit. So you need that save potential. Now he's going into the mid. Which is good. Question mark, they're making the right decisions, it's just a matter of is it... Maybe someone's going to go looking. Kale's hanging around nearby, level 18, so he's
Boom, there it goes.
feels it to try and make them big. But he's got the hook, but no.
It's double gonna spot out Rico. Overgrowth not gonna connect, and Rico just hook shots out of there. Straight out.
I mean, they had the flux available. They slowed him down, but fuck that Tempest double. I mean, Arc Warden is a great hero in this game, in mind, if you can play it to its full potential. But we're just seeing some mismicroing here and there that just means that you're not getting that extra kill might need to alleviate the bit allows you to come.
But Aghanim Scepter coming out sooner rather than later on this disrupted bird. Just holding that Philosopher's Stone. Once that axe is up, question how they take a team fight, question mark.
Gold boys carry now.
On the brighter side for question mark, they do have a repair kit on their Treant Protector, so
if it wasn't annoying enough, Leona's trying to go for the double bonk onto the courier, reveals itself a little bit by
To
doing
restore the void within.
the blink dagger.
pesky Leon. As disrupted as
Illusion.
possible. Cal still just forcing in that bottom lane, but now there's a Satanic up on your TV, and Phoenix is looking to go after Leaf. They do get the glimpse off in time. That'll be Leaf
Radiant's
dead.
top tower has fallen.
See, he does have buyback, but any else on the team that do realize their time is now. They've given the cheese over to this Timber Sword, so he's just going to be frontlining with Mature.
No meta pop yet from Haru. He's being very, very patient with the meta usage. AMP. Pop the magnetic field down, and that'll be enough.
They're trying to find this stream on the backside. They should know where he is. He blinks away, and they catch him.
Like they may. Silence does
Radiant
connect
are
Phoenix. Does he realize? Oh, it's a great Aether Remnant. See ya. Fiona. Yeah, he's gone. Thunderstrike was enough.
He's got buyback though, so the annoying times continue.
Pete still split pushing with that Tempest double. Going for an Eye of Skadi up next on the quarter. Phoenix still trying to work towards that Dagon.
I think it's perfectly fine to go at Dagon. It's all just about popping that arc point where he's able to have impact with his team. 220 gold away from his buyback, so you don't expect him to leave the base up and down. He's just away. Maybe trying to force the buyback out of the Treant Protector if he had it. Anything I can think of. That.
They can even try and heal up, but magnetic field down once again to KP. They're going to go in the field, but Haru, that is way too much damage to take, and he's going to survive. That had been a Mjolnir proc, that would have been your 8. He's just gone.
They got 45 seconds, but not the worst. And the tower gets healed.
What?
That's my thing. I'm sitting here wondering, is it really not worth just popping your meta? If you're going to commit for that tier 3, is that going to be too big of a problem? Because he hasn't used meta in the past, I want to say 5 to 10 minutes.
It's been a while. Waiting for a question mark to make a mistake as a trying to take the game into their own hand. That Rico, is that actually going to... Any pings come out because keen to get a kill on the board. The way to do it. Wood Spirit nearby, and a hot kill would be big.
The hook shot surely. And he does. Perfect line there from Rico with the Cogs pushback, and now the silence is known. Mikkel, he will be able to BKB, be his way out. Aries unable to secure a kill. On the brighter side, they do find a Spell Prism. It'll be very, very nice for our Void Spirit. He did just pick up a Dagon to boot.
Mind him still just continuing to hold the Mind Break. He's got plenty of reduction. Just giving it to the down. 500 gold away from that Ag Scepter as well on Disruptor. He's having a great day.
Treant, it's got to be so annoying for the side of Aster Aries. They just never are able to catch him out. KNP, his Tempest double will get glimpsed back. Looks like there could be an easy duel opportunity up at the top lane onto LWW. If he believes he's alone, which it seems like he may, High Pro is going to go for the duel attempt. Now, KMP does come in, and they do win the duel. That is 40 damage now.
Only 2 duel victories have been on that Disrupt. I think they just need to hit him every single time. Glimpse available. Now you can see that he's getting Ags. And he just dies so much quicker than this Timber. Really, what are you worried about against this Timber at the nearly 40-minute mark? Sure, he could protect the rest of his team somewhat, but it's not going to completely turn the team fight around like a Disruptor.
Radiant's tower is under attack.
Shot, bot lane, they go up to the top again with the silencers, and this time they blow him up.
Zap is there.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Dagon does have the spell prism as well, so those cooldowns are much lower. Haru will be on defense duty on the TB. Leona, how are you getting
Radiant
yourself in
are
these
scanning.
positions?
Cheeky little blink dagger, you know.
Go get the mangoes.
Take
Leona.
the mangoes.
Take the mangoes, come on, sir. Not just meme in the middle of the
Rico, no. Fire a rock flare over the...
There's a ping. Oh, he does know. Problem is, the guy's invis. Gem available. Dropped up.
They do, and when he reaches level 20, you'll have that rocket flare gives true sight as well. So, handy for Cheeky Tree.
A lot of value once he...
Careful. Nearby, the creeps are going to start hitting him.
Great hook shot in from Rico. He does catch him out and he knows it. He knows he's in there somewhere. Leona going to get out of the tree line. Does commit the overgrowth, but he has an Aghanim Scepter. So he rearms the hook shot. And even my pro going down at the top lane. Haru just soloing the LC, and it's again without the meta. Just doesn't need it.
Does not need it. Hell. 10 seconds, one of the fastest reset timers we can have. And what would be more? I suppose it's the pressure that they're hoping for. Accepted.
Onto the high ground again it is. AMP, pop that magnetic field.
Dire's middle tower.
Time around, this T3 major center dropping. That's a lot of damage out from your TB and your Void Spirit. They just jump in and they collapse on your Arc Ward, and KMP is gone without buyback.
One death on the Arc.
Hook shot in, and they found another. Looks like they have poured out the snap by Elite. Does goes for. But now an axe is up on your Disruptor. Flips back onto Lethal Cookie again. But he does drop it now. The jewel is up onto the TV. But it is not looking great. Mypro about to fall and does. Now Mikkel has been left alone. Haru, he's on a triple. There will be another out from Phoenix. Getting that Triplet Protector. This well and truly does look like it's GG. They're going for tier 4s. They've had enough.
Yeah, they don't care. No Tree and Protector. You've got the repair kit on cooldown as well. Snapfire went forward to try and get it through, and that's it. One kill on Arc Ward, and that's all it takes.
I mean, you literally called it. Very well done, Mr.
But even better done to Aster Aries, right? They needed this win to be able to come through into this stage of the group stage. Now they've just got one series left on Mad Monday tomorrow against T1, and if they win that, I'm pretty sure they advance on through.
Yeah, I guess we'll see how it all pans out. Speaking of T1.